The road to this afternoon's Coca-Cola Cup final has already taken in 4 matches. For Celtic, however, the journey across Glasgow to Ibrox has been a relatively short one. Dundee United, of course, have had to travel a little further to get here, but their journey home will certainly seem shorter if they can come out of top in this first major cup final of the season. Celtic against Dundee United, the Coca-Cola Cup final. The match played to a finish this afternoon, extra time and penalties if required, and we have the whole match for you live and uninterrupted. The match, of course, being played here at Ibrox because the multi-million-pound redevelopment of Hampden's South Stand is still going on. Here's how the National Stadium looks today, in stark contrast to the magnificently completed Ibrox, which is behind us. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to our coverage of the Coca-Cola Cup final. Celtic against Dundee United. Kick-off time just a little over half an hour away. And I'm joined in our studio here by two of the game's most respected coaches, St Johnstone's Paul Sturrock and Hibs' Jim Duffy. Paul, let's maybe firstly talk about this competition, because it's apparently attracting some criticism. The sponsors may or may not renew their involvement. What do you think of the Coca-Cola Cup?
I think it's a fans' cup. I think they really enjoy it because all their games are played to a finish. I also think the smaller clubs, financially, it's very beneficial to them. I think the criticism has been that our teams in Europe are cluttered up at the start of the season with too many fixtures. And I think there's ways around that, and I would be very disappointed if it was to come to the calendar.
Yeah, Jim, would you go along with that?
Yeah, I think it's a tremendous competition. I think it brings excitement because the games have got to be finished on the day. And even today, you know, you've not got to worry if it's a bad game, you're still going to pay. So, you know, there's got to be a finish, and I think that's what fans like to see, excitement in football. Yeah.
But having said that, it is a disappointment that there's no European place for the winners today, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is the one drawback of the competition, and I know there's plans to hopefully maybe rectify that. But you know, if it could happen, I'm sure everybody would be delighted, because any fast one is a welcome one.
Good. OK, well, it's the Coca-Cola Cup final. It's Celtic against Dundee United. Let's immediately get some team news from both camps from Chick Young.
On down here in the tunnel area, the shock for Celtic fans is that Paul Lambert is not in the Celtic starting at 11 this afternoon. He'll be on the bench alongside Simon Donnelly and Rico Annoni. Celtic presumably going for a 4-4-2. Jonathan Gould in goals. A back four of Tommy Boyd and Mark Rieper, Alan Stubbs and Stephen Mahey. In the middle of the park, McNamara, Vikhorst back in the side, Burley and Tom. And the strike force coming from Larsson and Reggie Blinker, which may be a shock for some Celtic supporters. Tommy McLean, well, when I asked him about his side, he said, "You have a guess at it. I got the 11 personnel right." He then said to me, "You will never in a million years guess how we're going to play, but here's the guess in any case." Dykstra will play in goals. Defence, Skullmark, Malpass, Perry and Presley, I think, the central defensive trio. Peterson on the left side doing a marking job, probably on Andy Tom. Zetterlund, Easton and Bowman in the middle of the park. Winters and Olofsson up front. If that's not right, you can get the boys, the professionals, Mrs Smith and Duffy and Paul Sturrock beside you to sort it out, but that's certainly the personnel. On the bench for United, McSwiggan, Dolan and Anderson.
Thanks very much indeed, Chick. Well, let's get immediately a reaction to that. I think we all expected that Andy Tom would certainly play for Celtic, Paul, after his performance last week, but no Paul Lambert. Does that surprise you?
Well, if you look back, I think Celtic over since the start of the season has a great run. The system that what they're adopting today, and really in the end it didn't surprise me. I think Paul's had a couple of injury problems, and basically I think he's just went for a more fluid side today.
Yeah, and from the United point of view, Jim, Jimmy Dolan out and Dave Bowman back in again. Yeah,
I don't think that really surprises me. I think you know, Tommy's went for experience playing in these type of matches, and Bo's tremendous in there, a tremendous competitor. He's also a better football player, I think some people give him credit for, and he'll make sure that you know, everybody around him, particularly on Craig Easton, you know, will be working away, and he'll be the anchor man, I think, in midfield. So I think he'll be a very important player for him.
Yeah. And Tommy tells Chick that the lineup or the formation will surprise him. What's all that about, do you think? Yeah, well, he does. I mean, everybody knows he's probably the most tactically minded manager in the game and one of the best at it. So I mean, I think for even us to guess, it might be wrong, but I think he's going to tighten up the midfield. I think he's going to try and make sure that Celtic don't get the space to play, and look to use the pace of Winters and Olofsson. So I don't think there'll be too many surprises. Maybe just wind Chick up a little bit. Absolutely, sounds a bit like it, doesn't it? And a 4-0 win over your cup final opponents just 8 days before a final. You can't ask for a better preparation, but how significant is it, Paul? Well,
before it, I thought it would be a factor, but thinking about the game, what happened last Saturday, and knowing Tommy as a two, I think he'll have come up with a few ideas that will put the spanner in the works for Celtic. You worry for Celtic that a bit overconfidence might creep in the scenario of after winning 4-0. But I think it'll be a very tight game, and as I said, it'll down to the tactical awareness of both managers.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the two team lineups in which we've been talking about. It is laid out for us with Celtic with Jonathan Gould in goal. We'll hear from him a little bit later on. Tom Boyd, the captain, of course. And they'll be delighted that Mark Rieper is fit, because I think he's stiffened up that Celtic back four, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done tremendously well, and I also think he's helped Alan Stubbs as well, because I think he seems to have settled down since Rieper's been there. It's a good combination now. And Andreas Tom, of course, the man of the match last week, and he's the kind of player, if he gets room to play, can really hurt you, can't he? Yeah, he's the type of player I think that when he's on song he can hurt any team, but you know, he's one player I think that probably frustrates the fans more. You know, except just reduce it off and off.
And Dundee United lineup we can also take a look at there. Tommy dropping hints about a strange formation, but I think we're taking that with a pinch of salt. Craig Easton's an exciting football, isn't he?
Real quality. You know, I've watched him 2 or 3 times live this year, and he's right from strength to strength. He's got a fantastic engine. He'll be in his own box defending, and the next minute he'll finish up in the other box. And they're very difficult to mark, these types of players. You know, basically ghosting in and coming in very, very late to have a strike at goal. And I've been delighted with his progress for them. You know, he's definitely been a great bonus to them.
Got real pace up front, United, of course. They're a counter-attacking team, Jim, but in players like Winters and Larsson, they do have real pace, don't they?
Yeah, I think Tommy likes to think he's more of a counter-attacking team. I don't think he's quite happy with that tag, but they do rely very much on the pace of Winters and either McLaren when he's playing, or McSwing and Larsson. And if you've got assets like that, then you know, they do stuff and they do use it, and they use it exceptionally well. But you know, maybe the fact is seeing as they may be going to be looking for someone else to go and support. I think most of us think that Easton will be the one, but maybe he's going to change that around a little bit and ask for more support from his midfield. So I think that might be the thing. I would have probably thought today he'll tighten things up, but maybe he's going to have a go. Okay, well, we shall find out, of course, very quickly after kick-off at 3 o'clock. But let's hear from a couple of the players who may very well have a major part to play in this afternoon's final. Dundee United captain Maurice Malpass, but firstly the Celtic keeper, Jonathan Gould.
How are you feeling? Nervous?
No, not nervous really. Once you get to the ground, that sort of leaves you, and you look forward to the game then.
What impact do you think it will have on the victory you had over United last week?
Obviously, you know, there is some kind of advantage going into the game, but we all know they'll be, you know, taking a different sort of attitude towards this final, and they'll be out to win it.
This is obviously what you came here for, matches like this.
Yeah, this is a great occasion, and hopefully it'll be the start of even better things after this. Might be able to concentrate on the league and the Scottish Cup now.
What's the mood been like in the dressing room, the Celtic dressing room?
That's been good. We've had a good week. We've trained harder. We've worked on certain things that we want to improve, and I think it all bode well for today.
A few years ago, Celtic came here. It should have been a launch pad for Tommy Burns and his team at that time. They lost to Wraith Rovers. Presumably, you see it all differently today.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously look back to games like that and think, well, things have got to change, and hopefully somewhere down the line today will be the start of that.
Think you'll be celebrating tonight?
I hope so.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good luck. You've been over this kind of track before, of course. You've been any nerves with a man of your experience?
Yeah, I still get a little bit anxious just before the game. But looking forward to it.
The younger players in the dressing room, any nerves there?
No, I think they've had a ball this morning. We've made sure that they were never left alone and to worry about it too much.
There's been a lot of talk about the fact Celtic had this convincing win over you just last week. What does it mean to the United players?
Nothing. It was 3 points lost as far as we're concerned. It doesn't come into today's game at all.
Do you still have the same appetite for these occasions you've had all these years you've been playing?
Thanks for reminding me, Chip.
Well,
yeah, I still got a buzz on the Saturday. You know, I do a lot of the coaching during the week, but the Saturday's still the best. Get a bit of fun.
The manager had a real go at your players after the United Celtic game last week. What's he been saying this week?
I never said very much to tell you the truth.
Nothing you could say in a family programme?
We got it in the throat on Monday. It was quite vicious in the attack on Monday, but we deserved that.
So in many ways that you could have a kickback here that it could work in your favour, that defeat, the league defeat?
Yeah, well, he's thrown it into their face. It makes sure it is just a one-off. He'll be delighted if we do throw it back in his face and prove it was just a one-off.
And so will the United fans making their way down from Tayside. Celtic fans too coming here in their thousands. A 50,000 capacity crowd at Ibrox this afternoon for this cup final. The game will be played in really quite nice conditions. Bright winter sunshine. The pitch, I must say, does look very good indeed. And I still find it a bit hard to get used to, fellas, that we're only 25 minutes away from a cup final. The stadium's empty, but of course they all have a seat now. They all know where they're going. So you don't really get that big match cup final atmosphere until 10 minutes before kick-off, Jim, do you?
I think you do if you're standing outside the game. For us in the studio here. But I think if you're travelling towards the game and you see the fans walking up the streets and all that, and then you definitely get the atmosphere. So I think that some of the fans do that deliberately. They come up the last 20 minutes and you know, they come in with the crowd and the throngs, and it's great, and by the time they get in here it's starting to fill up, and they just continue that right throughout the game.
Yeah. Will they see a lot of goals this afternoon, Paul?
Well, if you look at the last league game, you know, 4 goals in it. I think Dundee United will start a wee bit cagier than they did. I do believe the first goal, it's an old cliche to say, but the first goal will be a big factor in the game. And I would think it'll be a very tight affair.
Can you see it going to maybe extra time?
Yes, I think that could be on the cards. I think, you know, United will obviously be a bit wary of what happened last Saturday. And again, Celtic this season have tightened up an awful lot defensively under their new coach. He's really worked hard with his back four, and they haven't been leaking too many goals either. So it could be, as I said, a quite tight affair.
Okay, well in fact we can now take a look at how the two teams reached the final this afternoon. Both had fairly comfortable first round wins, Dundee United down at Queen of the South and Celtic down at Berwick, but then both had to go to extra time in round 3.
Back in from Pettersson and Zetterlund. Swiggan cuts inside, and it's slipped through. That's handball by Davidson. Simon Donnelly, 1-0. Dropping from Swiggan. What a goal! Stefan Mai, Henrik Larsson, and Celtic have the lead. As for Winters, chance for United, and Robbie Winters takes it. Olofsson, here's a chance for United. It's a brilliant goal by Easton. Here's Robbie Winters, and Winters has scored. That's a brilliant goal. In again from McNamara, lead off by Larsson. And Craig Burley scores for Celtic.
Now the road to Ibrox was negotiated. Painful watching for both Jim and Paul, because of course their teams were among the cup finalist victims along the way. Well, what of the two head coaches, the two team managers? Chick's been speaking to both. Firstly, Wim Jansen of Celtic.
Wim, this is why you came to Celtic matches like this, I suppose.
Yeah, I think these are very important games. These kind of finals you want to play.
Are you feeling nervous, emotional in any way about the whole thing?
Oh, you're always a little bit nervous, but the most important thing is today on the pitch it has to happen.
Do you believe that if Celtic win today, this will be a real launch pad for the club? You go on to greater things.
Yes, of course. Always, if you win these kind of games, it gives your team a boost.
It's a long way ahead for you. I mean, this is just part of the master plan, the Wim Jansen master plan.
You know, it's a part of the season, and hopefully we will end this game very good today. Then we can watch to all the next games.
You weren't smiling like this after the last game against Celtic.
You talk about the last one, but this is the current one, and hopefully we'll be smiling after the day's game.
So what have you had to say to your players this week?
There's not been a lot. I think it's basically a case that we reflect on the reasons behind last week. We can't dismiss it, and it's a case that we've been reflecting on the reasons behind the defeat and the performance in general, and we've got to ensure that doesn't recur today.
Celtic have been talking about this game as a launch pad to their future, but the same goes for United, doesn't it?
Yeah, you get to a final, people sit and say you're happy to be in a final. That's an absolute load of garbage as far as I'm concerned. You get to a final and you want to win the final, and that's basically what it's all about. As you say, it could be a lunch pad, but the most important thing, I think, is Dundee United have got to be in and among the silverware of the competitions, and it's good to be at this stage, but we want to go back up the road with the cup.
Knowing you as I do, you've probably got something tactically up your sleeve that we don't expect. You'd prefer to give us a clue?
Check, absolutely no chance whatever. You're the expert. I'm only the one that works about here, but you're the expert. It's tactical knowledge that you've got is second to none, Chick.
I was only paying you a compliment.
Well, I would do the same to you.
So have you got something up your sleeve for today?
Yes, I've heard Chick called many things a tactical expert. It's not really been one of them up till now, I have to say, but luckily we do have two tactical experts alongside us, fellow Premier Division managers, lads. I think people at home might be interested in knowing just how much contact is there between you two and Wim and Tommy? How much do you actually discuss the game and maybe show your own hand to each other?
Yeah, well, I think that you know, when you've got your plans laid, maybe just before the game, then you know, you're leaving it really up to your players then, and you don't really discuss too much with the manager. Maybe share a cup of tea and a biscuit, but really that's about all. But
is there much mind reading goes on though, Jim? Can you say, I know how Wim will play this, or I know how Tommy will play this? Or you try to guess, don't you?
Well, we played St Johnstone last week, and we both, after the game, said we cancelled each other out.
Yeah.
I mean, St Johnstone scored in the first couple of minutes, but for the next 8 minutes, we cancelled each other out because we both knew how exactly we would play, and you're really then relying on individuals to try and win you the game. So you played each other 4 times, you get to know each other's systems pretty well.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the problems, Paul, isn't it? There's too much familiarity, and therefore it's difficult to surprise another team, isn't it?
Well, you know, I think we've 20 years of the Premier League, and you know, everybody knows everybody. You know, and it's been very, very difficult at times. New managers have come from the continent with new styles and new ideas, which has benefited the Scottish type managers, and obviously, you know, playing Celtic earlier in the season, Mr Jansen came up with a couple of things that caused us a bit of concern, but after the first game I think we got things, you know, sorted out in that, and that's what it's all about in this time. And today will be very like that. Both managers will be well versed in how the other one's going to play, and as I say, that might disappoint in the type of game it is, and obviously how the performance is going to be of the two teams.
Yeah, but as Jim says, at the end of the day, it is down to the players. You guys can only do so much, and then it's up to the players, isn't it?
Yes, I think that is the most important. I think, obviously, you know, you bed the team down, and you hope that your quality players are the ones that turn the game for you in the end. You know, you're always going to have 2 or 3 players of real quality, as both these teams have, and they'll be the key factors in the game.
I think you two will both enjoy this one, actually, because we saw Wim and Tommy there, quite calm, quite good-humoured. That'll all change shortly after kick-off, as we've seen before. Who said it's a stressful occupation? Wim Jansen and Tommy McLean will go through the whole range of emotions this afternoon, as indeed will all those supporters arriving now in their thousands for this afternoon's Coca-Cola Cup final. Ibrox filling up rapidly. Every single person here will have an opinion on what may happen, what they hope will happen. They'll also have their opinions, I'm sure, as to who the outstanding players will be, and I'm sure you do too. Who do you think will be the man of the match this afternoon? Predict the outstanding player in this afternoon's big final. 0891 44 77 55 is the number to dial. The lines will close just about 15 minutes before full time. Should cost you no more than 50 pence to call. And the prize will be a VIP day out for two at the Scotland-Denmark International in March, one of our vital World Cup warm-up matches. 0891 44 77 55. Predict who the man of the match will be, and you could win that day out at the Scotland-Denmark match in March. Now let's take you back a little while. Memory matches, in fact, reminding you of Celtic and Dundee United's last League Cup final triumph, in both cases surprisingly long ago.
This is what Sturrock's good at. That's excellent play. Dodge with a chance. He's done it. Practically on the half-time whistle. 1-0 for Dundee United. Payne. Oh, that's the ball. Must be, yes. Sturrock getting the touch. That's a header against brilliant save, and it's in. Paul Sturrock. 3-0. Hamish McAlpin taking the cup. Robin. A good position for Celtic, and that's a goal. Nicholas has done it. McClellan down, and that's it. Mother McLeod, number 2. Referee still not satisfied with the distance away. They're taking it, and he scored. Brilliantly taken. 2-1. Danny McGrain, the only man previously to have had the cup in his hand for Celtic and a medal.
17 and 15 years respectively since these two clubs last won the League Cup, the Coca-Cola Cup, which is perhaps a surprising statistic. Well, it seems obvious to say that this is an important match for both clubs, obviously, but is it more important for one than the other to win this afternoon?
Well, I think it's more important for Celtic to win this. I do feel that looking at how Celtic have went lately, they're very much a mirror image of when Tommy Burns was in charge. They've had a couple of disappointing results against Rangers, and basically have had a reasonable run of results, and they obviously have now mirror image in the Wraith Rovers League Cup a couple of seasons ago, and it could very much tilt it in the wrong direction for Celtic. Dundee United, obviously, I think it's very important for them. They're always involved in silverware. They've had disappointments over the years, and I would like to think that this would be a springboard for them to go on to achieve bigger things as well.
Jim, would you go along with that? More important for Celtic than United?
I think it seems that way because they've got more supporters.
Yes.
I think that's the thing. I mean, their expectations are they should be winning everything every year anyway. But as you mentioned, they're such a long time since they last won this tournament. So I feel that if Celtic win that, then it can relax them. But I think the one problem Celtic have this time is that it isn't a passport to Europe. I think if it automatically qualify for Europe, I think it would maybe just give them that a little bit more incentive. But I think it'll be a very even match today. But I don't really see it being better for any club. I think when you get to this stage and you've got a club like United, they see it as every bit as important. But I think the fans maybe see it a little bit differently.
I'm sure they do. Well, as always, we hope to see as little as possible of the referee, and I mean that in the nicest possible sense. That's always the biggest compliment you can pay a referee, that he wasn't noticed. And Jim McCluskey will be hoping for a trouble-free afternoon today. Chick Young's been speaking to him and asked him firstly whether he's now recovered full fitness.
We'll work harder at fitness. Obviously, as you get older, you need to work harder. I'm probably doing 4 nights a week now training, just to try and keep my fitness up.
And these players, to me, seem fitter. Does it become more difficult as years go by?
No, not really. Your experience helps. You can get yourself in a position in the field of play, whereas maybe years before you were running to get there, you can read the game maybe better. So it's all experience.
The atmosphere out there today will be absolutely incredible. Do you hear any of these nice calls that you hear from the supporters, these well-wishers?
No, it's very strange. In a game like this today, you'll just hear a noise. In the smaller games, you can hear the personal comments being shouted at you, but today it'll just be a noise.
Just an occasion, just goes by and make sure you're right. And you're obviously here at linesmen have got assistant referees, should I say, you've got a job to play with you today as well.
Yes, we're the third team out in that field of play, and the linesmen will be well versed up what I'm looking for from them, and they'll be the same to me. Eye-to-eye contact is very important in these big games.
We wish you all the best today, Jim, and I'd love to ask you who you think will win, and I could rush round the local bookies, but it'd be a wee bit unfair.
The third team I hope win.
All the best today, Jim.
Thank you.
Yes, big day too for Jim McCluskey and his assistants. We wish them well. Our commentary team for the final, of course, will be Rob McLean and Gordon Smith. And Gordon, I know, looking forward very much indeed to the big match. Gordon, what kind of game are you expecting?
I think it'll be a hard-fought game, Dougie. I think that both sides here are under pressure. I know the lads are saying it's more important to Celtic, but Dundee United will definitely want to win something as well. Tommy McLean, he took over, so a lot of praise, but there's no silverware yet, so they'll feel the pressure as well. But I expect it to be a very close game.
And of course, you've been looking at the two lineups, and I think picking out one or two players you think might have a special part to play.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good players in show here today. It's not just going to be about one or two players, but I think there are some special players, and I've been looking at them this week, starting with Maurice Malpass. Maurice is now one of the grand old gentlemen of Scottish football. But although he will be the oldest player in the field today at 35, that doesn't diminish his importance to United's cause. He generally plays as a spare man at the back, and whether he's organising others or making a telling interception, he goes about it in the quiet and efficient manner that has become his trademark. The success United had in the semi-final can be attributed as much to Malpass's defensive qualities as to the contribution of their more celebrated forward stars. Tommy McLean will be hoping today that Celtic revert to their usual formation. Last Saturday, Malpass came in direct contact with Henrik Larsson, and this prevented him from enjoying his usual free role. Since his arrival at Celtic Park, Larsson has made a tremendous impact. A player of considerable top-class experience, he makes it difficult for opponents by operating in the space between the midfield and the strikers. This often allows him to begin moves deep in the midfield and then suddenly appear in the box on the blind side of defenders to finish them off, just as he did here against St Johnstone with a very athletic header from Craig Burley's cross. His good balance, control and easy running style allows him to drift past defenders, and United won't need to be reminded of how composed he is in these situations. When you add his ability from set pieces, then Larsson is a player who will surely figure in United's planning this afternoon. One man who United hope will provide firepower is Robbie Winters, ironically linked this week with a move to Celtic. He's full of confidence at the moment and is widely tipped to force his way into Craig Brown's plans for France '98. His goals against Aberdeen in the semi-final were typical of his finishing this season. He's strong and pacey and likes to play in the shoulders of defenders so he can run onto through passes. United are at their best on the counter-attack, and with someone like Winters waiting to exploit the space this creates, then Celtic will need to be very wary. He shows on this occasion that he finishes equally well on his left side. Until recently, Craig Burley was without question the Premier Division's most consistent player. It's difficult to maintain that level of performance, but the signs are there that he's returning to form. He's an influential player in the midfield, where he's able to both mark opponents and win the ball when required. The main strength he has brought to Celtic is his ability to support the front men, either to provide chances or to try a shot himself. He's an excellent finisher, and a fine example of this was against Dunfermline at Ibrox in the semi-final, where his fine support play and superb strike took Celtic to today's final.
Four of the players Gordon Smith feels will have a key role to play. Maybe one of them might even end up being man of the match. If you think so, or whoever you think will be man of the match, give us a call. 0891 447755. Lines open until 4:30, and that trip to the Scotland-Denmark match as the prize. 0891 447755. I won't ask Jim and Paul to predict man of the match necessarily, but last chance for a few thoughts before kick-off, fellas. Paul, you said you thought the first goal would be important, particularly for United, maybe?
Yeah, I do think, you know, if United were to score early on, their style of play would be much suited to that. Obviously, the the defeat last Saturday, if Celtic were to score early on, it might be a contributing factor to the game as well. But I do feel that United will score first and go on to win the game.
That's your prediction.
That's it.
Jim, let's have yours.
Yeah, well, I think United will score, but I don't think they'll win. I think there'll be more than a couple of goals in this game, because I think that Robbie Winters and Olofsson, with Celtic playing a flat back four, I think they'll definitely cause them problems. But I think this game, it'll be, Celtic will be really keyed up for it, and I fancy them to maybe win it 2-1.
Yeah, we want a goal early, I suppose, really, don't we? That always seems to set the match up, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, here in the background is just now. I mean, the fans there will be driving these teams on, and as I said, and I think that if United do score, then you'll see a really open game, because Celtic will have to go and chase a game. As I said, they always try to play that way. And as I said, then I think it'll be a real interesting game. Whether it'll be an entertaining game or not remains to be seen, but I certainly think there'll be a few goals.
Yeah, but in the end, you think Celtic might just do it?
I think Celtic might just do it, yeah.
Right, OK, well, we're getting very close now to kick-off time. You'll never walk alone. Winding up the Celtic fans behind me, the late-comers, and there do seem to be quite a number of them, hurrying now to take their places before kick-off time, which is only 5 minutes or so away. As I say, a lovely sunny afternoon, ideal conditions for this Coca-Cola Cup final. Celtic against Dundee United. Let's enjoy it all now in the company of our commentary team, Gordon Smith and Rob McLean.
Thanks, Dougie. The first major prize of this Scottish football season is about to be won, and great anticipation around the ground inside Ibrox. A young Celtic supporter there, and part of the Dundee United following, about 20,000 of them, have made their way down to Ibrox for this match, filled with expectation. Both these sides have taken the scalps of 3 Premier teams on their way to this stage of the competition. Celtic have beaten St Johnstone, Motherwell and Dunfermline in the semi-final, which was here at Ibrox, of course. Dundee United have beaten Hibs and Rangers here as well, and of course that dramatic semi-final at Tynecastle, in which they beat Aberdeen by 3-1. Lots of guesswork going on around the ground as to how particularly Dundee United will line up. Getting the 1 to 11 on the team sheet is one thing, but working out how Tommy McLean's mind is operating is something else completely. Lots of possibilities about the lineup he's named, and as Gordon will tell us as the match kicks off, much will depend on how Celtic line up in terms of how Dundee United will respond. The two teams still to emerge inside the stadium, and there will be a deafening roar when they come out through this foyer area outside the 2 dressing rooms, down the tunnel and then out onto the Ibrox pitch. There's Jim McCluskey and his 2 assistants, Bobby Orr and Joe Kelly. The 4th official this afternoon is Mike McCurry. And these supporters can hardly wait for this match to begin. You have to go back to the early 80s to find victory in the League Cup for either of these sides. It's 15 years since Celtic won the competition, and since then in the final they've 4 times been on the losing side. Dundee United's last League Cup win was 17 years ago. They of course still hark back to an unsuccessful cup experience last season in the semi-final of the Tennant Scottish Cup against Kilmarnock. In their minds will be the 4-0 defeat at Celtic Park in the league last Saturday. They won't have dismissed that result much as they'd like to. They'll hope to have learned something from that experience, and with the motivational experience of Tommy McLean behind them, they will be a different side this afternoon. Most people would be sure of that. Exchanges between the 2 sets of players. Tom Boyd leading out Celtic. Maurice Malpass at the head of the queue for Dundee United. And just listen to the reception that awaits these 22 players. As the players come through the picture, no one will be more relieved to be involved this afternoon than Mark Rieper. At the start of the week, there seemed little chance that he'd be able to recover from a calf injury, but he is there. Jonathan Gould, Jackie McNamara, Alan Stubbs, Henrik Larsson. There's Rieper. And the Celtic fans are happy to see him in the lineup because he has added so much solidity to their defensive showing this season. Let's have a look at the two lineups. If there's a surprise about the Celtic lineup, it's the absence of Scotland pair Paul Lambert and Simon Donnelly. Both are on the bench alongside Enrico Annoni. Mark Rieper's returned to fitness, a big boost then for Wim Jansen. And Andy Tom, who scored twice against Dundee United, then league match last Saturday, he keeps the number 9 jersey.
Yeah, Lambert's absence is a complete surprise to me, but it looks as if he's going to go the normal 4-4-2 route he likes. He likes Blinker on the left-hand side, McNamara on the right. The only change I can see to this is that Celtic go with 3 up front as they did last week. And remember, it was quite successful against Dundee United. They had Tom, Larsson and Blinker, all as front men, and that would mean they would be playing 3 in the middle. But I don't really expect that, but it's interesting to see it to line up that way.
And from Celtic onto the Dundee United lineup, Tommy McLean has ruled out the newly arrived Siggy Jonsson because of injury, and Andy McLaren is suspended. Other than that, he's picked from a strong squad. Swede Magnus Goldmark is back in after hamstring trouble, and club captain Dave Bowman returns after a 5-match suspension. The 1 to 11 is the easy bit, but how will they line up, Gordon?
Well, known Tommy McLean, he's one of the most tactical managers in the game. He'll wait and see how Celtic play. He'll have a line-up at the moment along the lines we're looking at now with Peterson in front of a back 4, because I think they'll expect Larsson to play in there. If Larsson plays an out-and-out striker, then Peterson might take on a completely different role. So we'll have to wait until the kick-off, until the game's underway, until we know exactly how they're going to line up.
The referee, and there aren't too many more experienced than 47-year-old Jim McCluskey, and he's officiating at his 4th League Cup final. So it's all about to begin. The 52nd League Cup final, the Coca-Cola Cup final. Celtic against Dundee United. Andy Tom and Henrik Larsson get the match started. Eyes will be fixed early on. But firstly, how Celtic are playing and how Dundee United plan to respond. A touch for Stephen Presley, who immediately sends it back to Sieb Dijkstra. Presley knows this setting well. For 5 seasons, he was a Rangers player. Now Maurice Malpass, in his 19th season, is a Dundee United man. Long ball aimed for Winters. Attacked by Alan Stubbs. Hero recently with the equaliser in part 2 of the Old Firm doubleheader. He was injured too, but he's made a good recovery and fit to line up alongside Rieper. It's away from the big Dane. Erik Pedersen got his foot to it. As man markers go in Scottish football, not too many better than this man.
No, he's a tremendous man marker, and I think he's taking the job of marking Andreas Thom today. It looks to me as if Celtic have lined up almost a 4-3-3. They push Thom wide on the right, Larsson's through the middle, Blinker on the left. At the moment, Peterson is playing a role in front of him, though, marking McNamara. So he's in the midfield. It looks like Perry might have to pick up Thom, but definitely the tactical changes that Celtic have made, moving away from the normal 4-4-2 formation to a 4-3-3.
Blinker finds Burley. Reggie Blinker again. Blinker has been the focus of attention for Celtic supporters recently. A couple of disappointing showings. Having had a good start to his Celtic career, having come from Sheffield Wednesday as part of the swap which took Paolo Di Canio south. Dijkstra often brilliant, ever eccentric as well. Netherland over the head of Olofsson and safely through to Jonathan Gould. Gould still to concede a Coca-Cola Cup goal. It's some record. Burley for McNamara. Poor one forward, straight at Malpass. Andy Tom revelling in his starting lineup place. Looking for Blinker. Away from Presley. Burley for Rieper, hammering things down. And ball this time for Larsson. Larsson and Tom going for the same ball. And tidying up work done by Craig Easton. Zetterlund came off Weghorst. Untidy stuff in the middle of the field. The free kick goes against David Bowman. There's Mai. Blinker. Teasing Skoldmark, trying to get in behind. It's a good ball in. Here's Larsson. For Weghorst. Struck it well. Straight up Dykstra. But the first chance of the match goes Celtic's way.
Yeah, tremendous play. That's what they were looking for. Blinker again down the left-hand side. Very, very tight angle, throws in a good cross. Larsson does well. He's good at this, spotting people coming onto it. Not the better foot from Weghorst, but an excellent strike nevertheless.
Reggie Blinker dispossessed. Presley for Olofsson. Tightly policed by Stubbs. And now David Bowman. Zetterlund is alongside. An experienced campaigner. 33 Zetterlund. Easton, good turn away from Mahe. And away from Rieper. Again from Stephen Presley, but no great problem that to the Celtic defence. Through for Goulds. Goulds rescued from the reserves at Bradford City. Thought to be a stand-in at first, but his performances have belied that tag. Easton again. Pressured by Mahe. Skoldmark finds Winters. And out from Presley.
It's interesting now that the ball's out of play. You can look at what Dundee United are doing as well, Rob. They've got a back four there. Skoldmark, Presley will be picking up in their Malpass and Perry wide on the left. Peterson's playing in the middle alongside Bowman and Zetterlund, and they've got the three up front. They've pushed Easton onto the right-hand side to stop Mahing it forward, and they've got Olofsson and Winters up front.
Here's Andy Tom. Away from Perry. Jackie McNamara. In the way is Pedersen, and a good tackle too by Erik Pedersen. The Norwegian, he's been such a good signing. McNamara waiting for options to open up. There's Weghorst, stumbling as he went past Zetterlund. And won back by the Swede. Straight to Andy Tom. Pedersen showing composure on the ball. First there was Tom Boyd. The ball being given away in turn by both these sides. Winters to Bowman. The return pass is aimed at Winters, but he was in a stationary position. Explanations being given.
Interesting, Rob, that when you're playing like Celtic with a back four, normally you mark zonally and you pick up the areas, but Celtic have actually put Tommy Boyd man for man on Winters. Obviously afraid of the pace of Winters today, and make sure he doesn't get the run on them, and they've put Tommy Boyd directly on him.
McNamara looking for Larsson. Stephen Presley was determined that was going to be his, and he was fouled in the process as well. Great determination. Lots of experienced players on the park, but signs of early nerves as well. Very untidy in the middle of the field. Neither of these two has been able to get the ball down and make passes as yet. It's won well by Craig Burley. Andy Tom, first time for Larsson. Not the tight control that Stephen Presley was looking for, and he just handed possession back to Henrik Larsson, but United have the throw. £750,000 from Coventry City. Dundee United paid for Presley. In from Rieper. Miscue completely by Davy Bowman, gets a second chance. And now Perry. And that's a Celtic throw. United unable to clear their lines, putting pressure on themselves. McNamara settles for a throw-in of Pettersson. Wim Jansen was unhappy with his defensive qualities early on in the season, so he pushed him up the right side of midfield, and he's revelled in that role. Almost on cue. Away from Malpass. Lots of tangerine shirts across the penalty area.
Yeah, it's very busy at the moment in midfield, especially. Both teams are getting a lot of players behind the ball when the opportunity arises. That's probably why they're actually better at time to time, as we saw there when Tom played an early ball, tried to find Larsson and open the space up, because if you try and play football and make a lot of passes in midfield, all you're going to do is allow the opposition to get in behind you. But as you mentioned there, McNamara did very, very well last week in the midfield against Dundee United, and I think they've got a little bit of a fear of him, and that's why they put Pedersen in that area to try and stop him playing.
Good turn there from Robbie Winters. The pass didn't find its target, but he has a second chance now. Olofsson's in the middle, and Craig Easton getting there too, but it's good defending from Celtic. Winters again beaten to the ball. Now Larsson. The pass was aimed at Weghorst. Lars Zetterlund was in the way. Craig Easton slipping as he tried to get round Stephen Mai, and eventually overrunning the ball. But a great prospect is Craig Easton. Skoldmark's header. Craig Easton still washes the manager's car on a Friday, but has an important role too in the first team. Forced his way in.
Very important part of your development as a young player, Rob, washing the manager's car.
And beware he who puts streaks in Tommy McLean's bonnet. Now Malpass having a look. As well won by McNamara. And the ball given away under no pressure. Given straight to Zetterlund. Now Craig Burley. A pass finds its target. It's not happening too often at the moment. Here's Blinker. Stephen Mai is up in support. Blinker's cross, cut out by Stephen Presley. Final ball not as good as Reggie Blinker would have wanted. Ahe on the right foot. Away from Presley again, straight at Weghorst. Now McNamara. Andy Tom in the wide position. Pedersen and Perry are in front of him, so forced to turn it back. Burley gets it from Weghorst. Celtic content to keep the ball, waiting for the opening to be the right one. Nice touch from Larsson. Blinker tackled by Easton. Henrik Larsson has it again. Larsson's through, and Dijkstra saves well. Good skill that from Larsson, but good goalkeeping, good anticipation from Dijkstra.
Yeah, that was very important goalkeeping there. Looked as if Blinker was fouled. Larsson recovered from there, but great piece of individual play. The nutmeg on Presley. Good goalkeeping.
Now Winters. A complete miss-hit from Robbie Winters. Touched it with the left foot before he hit it with the right. And no threat to Jonathan Gould.
Well, the main thing about it is it's a shot on goal. There's Dijkstra, who had that tremendous save. He'll be happy about that early in the game, getting a good save in there and a good block. And Winters trying the shot, which is the right thing to do, because Dundee United haven't had a single effort at goal. And at least that counts them, and with the law of averages, you've got to have a few shots at goal before one will count for you.
Blinker beaten by Skoldmark. Easton back to Presley. And Magnus Skoldmark again. Aiming for Olofsson. Kjell Olofsson has seen very little of the ball so far. United unable to get the ball up to him. Alan Stubbs did well to win that back. It was he who lost it, and he was determined to make up for that error. Jonathan Gould's clearance, not the best, and he'll be happy to see that ball trundling across the goal line. Olofsson, 11 goals this season, 10 of them in the league. He hasn't scored in this competition so far. He's powerful, he's pacey, he's been a great signing, a steal for a few £100,000 from the Norwegian side Moss just over a year ago.
Good player. Look out for him getting into the back post as well. Very, very good in the air at times. Also good at releasing Winters. He does a good job in that respect. When they break up attacks and they do the counter-attack move, Olofsson is very, very good at finding the long ball for Winters to run onto.
These two have seen a fair bit of each other already in this match. Presley and Larsson. Stephen Presley is underneath the long ball from Gould. He's winning the tackle well against Reggie Blinker as well.
Yeah, the game hasn't settled down yet at all, Rob. Nobody can really get free to make passes. I would think if by the two sides, Celtic are slightly on top at the moment. They're actually getting in behind Dundee a little bit more. They've had some good crosses in the box and a couple of efforts already.
That's out off the head of Magnus Skoldmark. Here's Craig Burley, always keen to put his foot on the ball and spread the play. McNamara with Andy Tom making a run up ahead. Tackled by Perry, in from behind, free kick. Impatient to get at the ball. And it's clattered into the back of Tom.
Bad free kick to give away, really, to be honest with you. They've now got a chance Celtic to throw this in the box with Rieper and also Stubbs up there.
Weghorst is there as well. There is Morten Weghorst. Kept in by Stubbs, or so he thought. Goal kick given, but Morten Weghorst is always a threat in the air, 6'3". And in addition to Rieper and Stubbs, he's dangerous, Gordon.
Yeah, certainly can't be discounted. Gets on the end of this, even though he's under pressure there. I think it was both Presley and Malpass were barging into him, but he still got the header on goal. But Celtic are a threat at set pieces because of the two centre-backs and Weghorst, as you mentioned, Rob, who's got the height, and Dundee United are a bit short in that area.
Zetterlund launches the long ball, and another one delivered from Alan Stubbs, but it did find its target, Andy Tom. Beaten to it by Bowman. Perry's pass with a bit too much pace on it for Pettersson. First there was Rieper, £1.5 million from West Ham just a couple of months ago. He's made his mark already. Really is not a joy to watch at the moment. Won by Rieper again. The ball is getting a bruising at the moment. Controlled though by Burley. Control was good, but unable to find a teammate.
Yeah, that's just the pressure he's under there. He realised quickly that Bowman was coming to close you down. He always, as he always does in that midfield area. He's very, very quick. David Bowman to get in chances, and Craig Burley was just intent in knocking that over the top of the defence, trying to spring Larsson or Tom.
Here's Olofsson. A typical bursting run from him, but that was a beautifully timed tackle by Alan Stubbs. Olofsson was moving at some speed, and the tackle had to be right.
Good burst of pace there, wasn't it? Olofsson getting away from Rieper, but look at the timing of this tackle, and it had to be good timing. A little touch from Olofsson, that could easily have been a penalty kick.
A long throw. Big Burley's header. And away from McNamara. Time for Craig Burley to cushion the ball in the chest. Knocks it downfield for Henrik Larsson to chase. Skoldmark under a bit of pressure, but does well. Craig Burley lofts it over Skoldmark's head. Now Weghorst. Burley again with Blinker available. Larsson and Tom in the middle. Larsson just had a flash at the shot at the edge of the box. Well worth the effort. 12 goals already this season for Celtic. but too high with that effort.
He's always a threat. It was a bad play actually from Pedersen there, delaying it too long, and Tom put him off, but the ball breaking high and Larsson not getting over the ball and keeping his volley down. But it is another striking goal, and Celtic have had more efforts obviously in this game so far, and as I said before, I would just put them slightly ahead in terms of play.
Tommy McLean back in the dugout, looking a trifle agitated. A couple of minutes ago he wandered up to the touchline. The players know they will hear from him as the 90 minutes progresses. Over 18 minutes gone, still goalless. Not too many serious efforts on goal so far. Mark Perry with the free kick. Away from Weghorst. Larsson's header looking for Tom. Andy Tom was such a problem to Dundee United last Saturday in the 4-0 win at Celtic Park. United have been well warned. Zetterlund, normally such a composed figure at the heart of the United midfield, but he yet to find his game. He is an important figure. United fans have learned to forgive and forget, because he played for Gothenburg in the '87 UEFA Cup final, which United lost. Martin Weghorst getting the break of the ball, looking for a return from Henrik Larsson, but he was taken out. And words being exchanged between Pettersson and Weghorst, the Norwegian and the Dane. Pettersson indicating a dive.
Yeah, he is indicating that. I think that he more or less ran in to Morris Malpass there, and the referee decided that it was a block, it was a body check. But I think Pedersen was just putting his point of view forward that Morten Weghorst had actually played for it. I think he had a good case there.
So the two players being dropped together. Handshake and all smiles. Jim McCluskey keen to calm things down. There's Mark Rieper up in the box alongside Henrik Larsson. Reggie Blinker just outside the area. Andy Tom is over the ball. And away from Zetterlund. Mahe to Blinker. Good work by Winters. Closing down Blinker. Blinker again teasing. Mahe is behind him. First time in. Morris Malpass first there. McNamara doing the chasing. Here's Tom. Weghorst making a run. It's a good run too. He's got some time to have a look here. And there's the opening goal. It's Mark Rieper. 20 minutes gone, and Celtic make the breakthrough.
It's a magnificent goal, you've got to say that. Dundee United has a lot of players back. It's a perfectly timed run. The ball went out wide to Tom. He held it just the right moment. Weghorst makes a tremendous run, gets in behind, definitely onside, delivers a wonderful cross. Larsson went near post, through the defence in there. Look at the header from Rieper. Absolutely superbly placed away in the far corner. Weghorst takes a lot of credit though. That's a great cross. But it's a difficult header to make, but expertly put away, and that is a vital break for Celtic. I think the goal has been coming. Celtic have been the better side so far. Dundee United have got it all to do now.
Mark Rieper so nearly didn't play in this match because of a calf injury. Celtic were happy to have him solidify their defence, but there he was, popping up in the attacking position, and when this ball was flighted in from Weghorst, Rieper was always the favourite, and his header left Steve Dijkstra a spectator. Stubbs for Blinker. Handoff from Skoldmark, gets away with it. Presley plays that off Craig Burley for the throw. That goal has really turned up the temperature around the ground. Some smiles in the Celtic technical area, and Wim Jansen looking his usual calm self. It's only Mark Rieper's second goal for his new club. And what an important goal that could prove to be. Won by Presley. And knocked down by Zetterlund. Now, how will Dundee United respond to that setback? Pass, it's given away by United. This could be trouble. Henrik Larsson takes a deflection, and that's number 2. Henrik Larsson's shot, it came off for a small pass and left Dykstra again with no chance. So inside 2 minutes, it's a second Celtic goal.
Yeah, obviously it was a touch of fortune, but Dundee United caused their own problems here. Put themselves under pressure with that pass from Perry. They're backing off, they're looking for the runners. Vikos goes one way, Tom's there, decides to have the shot, Larsson. Get a bit of fortune, it just breaks off Morris Malpass's leg and goes high into the net. But look at least he knows what he wants to do here. He wants it to strike. Look at that little touch off the foot or the leg of Morris Malpass. Dykstra no chance. Things are caving in again for Dundee United. We saw this happen to them last week at Celtic Park when they lost the first goal. They caved in. It's happening again.
In from Erik Pedersen. Here's Lars Zetterlund. Well charged down by Stubbs and away from Burley. That was United with an immediate response to that second Celtic goal. A shooting chance for Zetterlund, but it was very quickly and very effectively charged down. Kjell Olofsson winding up for the long throw. Away from Rieper. Bowman back to Olofsson. And again it's Mark Rieper who makes the clearance.
Yeah, I was one of the people, Rob, who subscribed to the view that Dundee United had to score first here today. And it was bad enough when they lost the first goal, but now I really think they're up against it. Larsson knows what he wants to do here. Decides to the shot. Morris Malpass just wants them to play a little pass to the side. The shot deflects off. I'm very unfortunate from that point of view, but Celtic have been in top. And if Dundee United don't get a grip at this point in time, the same thing could happen to them as happened last week at Celtic Park. They could lose a few goals, and Celtic are definitely up for it now, and their fans getting right behind them.
Craig Easton keeping the ball well, but given away by Olofsson, although it breaks for Bowman. United have constantly been under pressure in the midfield. That's a credit to Celtic. And Olofsson again being policed by Stubbs. Again, Olofsson hurling the ball into the area. Away from Rieper, here's Bowman. Morris Malpass in support. Pedersen trying to get away from Jackie McNamara. Not a shot which troubled Jonathan Gould. The Celtic fans are in good voice, and this didn't give them too many flutters either.
Well, it's worth the effort there from Pedersen. They really do need something special from one of the players that can offer it. We've seen very, very little at Winter. Storm McLean must be really annoyed at the moment. Seeing his team not only lose a goal, it was an excellent first goal, but then giving one away really must be so disappointing.
A good touch there from Olofsson, and he had the crack at goal. It took a deflection. How United need to pull one back.
Well, they've got to step it up in terms of their work rate and the amount of efforts they have on goal. This is the type of thing they need to be doing a bit more, but the big danger for them is that when they're pushing forward to try and get something wrong, they're going to leave the back door open, and Celtic have a lot of pace in forward position.
Zetterlund's corner kick. Stephen Presley was up, but he was beaten by Rieper, nodded down by Malpass to Olofsson. Olofsson just chips that up at the far post, but nobody there for United. It's a deflating spell for them, conceding 2 goals in 2 minutes and unable to ask too many questions so far of Jonathan Gould.
This is absolutely nothing to do, Rob. He's quite this afternoon he's probably had in some time. But Dundee United, as I say, will need to try and push people forward. They've got to score the next goal in this match to bring themselves back into it. If Celtic go 3-0 up, then they'll be cruising, and it very much could be an exhibition match from their point of view.
Everyone said after last Saturday's result, oh, it certainly won't be 4-0 again. Well, Celtic are halfway there, and the way things are going at the moment, as Gordon said, that is possible. But then Dundee United will hope that this match can take a swing back in their favour. Zetterlund looking for Pedersen. Andy Tom picks it up. Burley, Larsson and Andy Tom again. Celtic beginning to link well. Presley pushing forward. Now Pedersen. Winters and Olofsson are in the middle. Here's Mark Perry. Easton getting into the box as well, and Skoldmark on the far side. Here's Winters. It's a good ball in. Up goes Easton, up two went Stefan Mai. Good defensive header. Concedes the corner, but he was under pressure from Easton.
Yeah, good play from Dundee United. Winters made an excellent run. That's a terrific cross as well as his left foot. Good defending in the back post. Desperate area to try and defend that. Mahi came in off the side. Easton was there, and Mahi got away for the corner.
And Lars Zetterlund having a good look at the penalty area. Up was Presley. Away from Rieper. Here's Kjell Olofsson, might have a crack from here. Didn't quite catch it. Replaying it in his mind.
Yeah, Celtic can't really afford to give Olofsson that amount of room on the edge of the box, because he does strike the ball very well there. He will always have a pop from that sort of distance, 20 yards out. And as we've seen already this season, he scored against Celtic from a free kick from a similar angle. So they really have to close that down a bit quicker.
4 players going for one ball. It breaks for Blinker. Now Larsson. Henrik Larsson becoming more and more influential in this game. It's a good pass for Blinker, and it's equally well read by Malpass. Olofsson's head breaks for Winters. Winters against Rieper. Olofsson in support. The momentum taken out for the attack. Here's Zetterlund trying to work a shooting position. Away from Burley. Celtic defended that well. Zetterlund couldn't quite get himself into the shooting area. Now Bowman. Skoldmark making a run forward. Bowman bouncing off Burley, and a free kick. He's missed the last 5 matches because of suspension. Always a man you'd want to have on your side, Davy Bowman. His 12th season with Dundee United. Kjell Olofsson is over the ball. Every Celtic player behind it. David Bowman, an unwelcome figure in that wall. Struck by Olofsson, struck it well too, and it was close enough to have Jonathan Gould scrambling along the goal line.
Yeah, great strike again. A lot of power in it, well off target though. I mean, Jonathan Gould actually made it look a bit closer than it was, but I thought he may have just stood his line and known that was going well past. But Olofsson once again just showing that he's got the prowess there from that sort of distance to hit a good shot.
Winters under pressure from Boyd. Finds Easton. Colin McLean was saying Craig Easton was one of the calmest men in the Dundee United squad pre-match. And still only 18. Quickly away from Gould, looking for Henrik Larsson, but he hooked the clearance. Craig Easton scored that memorable goal in the semi-final against Aberdeen. 3-1 it finished at Tynecastle, and his goal the pick of the bunch. And Stubbs gets it away under pressure from Olofsson. It's now Larsson against Presley.
The last 10 minutes have been a good spell for Dundee United. They're showing a bit more now. They're getting forward, they're getting players into forward positions. They've had some shots at goal. Quite encouraging from their point of view.
Blinker back to Mai. Closed down quickly by Easton. Celtic having tried down the left, now try down the right. There's Beekhorst, and Andy Tom. Jackie McNamara had made the run forward, as Malpass got himself in the way. And Stubbs settles for turning that out for the throw. Celtic will be more than content with the first half so far. It's United who are forced into responding. Netherland to Presley with Robbie Winters. Well dealt with again by Tom Boyd. Bowman looking for the Eastern run. Skoldmark there as well. But Gould off his line. Better play though from United. 2 against 1. Morris Malpass protesting, but the free kick goes in favour of Henrik Larsson.
Yeah, it's not somewhere I'd want to be, actually, in a tackle between Malpass and Dave Bowman. And I think Larsson did very, very well just to actually get out of the way of that, and ended up with 2 Dundee United players tackled each other.
Offside against Richie Blinker. A Dutch Cup winner with Feyenoord in his time in Holland. Celtic warming up their substitutes. There's Rico Annoni, played so well last Saturday against United, on the bench today. Pettersson trying to get himself away from McNamara. Presley, too much air. Robbie Winters never much of a chance of getting on the end of that Presley pass. So just 10 minutes to go to half-time. Stubbs picks out McNamara. Wayward with the pass. Won well by Pedersen. Now Weghorst. Away from Zetterland. This was where the first goal came from. Blinker, a missed kick from his right foot. That was a real chance for Blinker. And commits the foul as he tries to win the ball back. That was very similar to the build-up to Rieper's goal.
Absolutely brilliant again from Weghorst, I've got to say. Laid it on a plate, probably unfortunate. Reggie Blinker came in, took up a terrific position, but didn't fall to his good foot, his left side, so the real wild swing at it and ended up doing nothing. But Weghorst once again there, but very, very prominent in the build-up for Celtic, getting into a good position in behind the midfield.
And that was Weghorst's pass aimed for Andy Tom, but it was cut out by Mark Ferry. Header won by Burley. It drops for Blinker. Here's Henrik Larsson. Stephen Mize made a good run. Larsson and Tom in the middle. There's Henrik Larsson, but it's a good defensive header. I think Morris Malpass got there in front of him. Concedes the corner kick, but that could well have been number 3 for Celtic.
Yeah, good work by the referee. It was a bad tackle with Skoldmark on Blinker. He allowed play to go on. Great run by Mahi to get into that space. It was left by Blinker, leaving it. And Larsson just not getting there. Tom letting that run out. There's a treatment just now for Blinker because it was a very heavy challenge. And the referee is having a word with Skoldmark just now. And a yellow card has been produced. Skoldmark is booked for that. So that was good refereeing there by Jim McCluskey to allow play to go on, because with Blinker coming in from the side, that created the space, and Blinker making the little pass, taking the heavy challenge, allowed Mahi to burst into that wide area and put in a good cross.
So that's the first booking of the match, and it's Magnus Skoldmark. And as Gordon said, good refereeing by Jim McCluskey, letting play go on after Blinker was taken out here. Mark Rieper is up for the corner kick. Alan Stubbs and Morton Weghorst are there as well. Andy Tom swings it in. Sieb Dijkstra missed it, hooked away by Olofsson. Sieb Dijkstra still standing in the penalty area, looking bemused about that. Skoldmark, but Olofsson offside. The Celtic defence had come out quickly and as a unit, and Olofsson was stranded.
Yeah, they've coped very well with it. Tommy McLean has definitely got a problem in terms of how to try and open up this Celtic defence. One opportunity they had with from general play was the cross from Winters to the back post, well defended by Mahe. Other than that, it's been long-range efforts, and Celtic have really pulled a masterstroke by having Tommy Boyd on Robbie Winters, which has stopped Winters being effective at all.
A booming clearance from Dijkstra. Alan Stubbs lets it bounce and then nods it back to Jonathan Gould. A transformed player is Alan Stubbs. It's such a miserable start to his Celtic career, but he's been a real player for them this season. Good vision there from Burley, spotting McNamara. And now Andy Tom. Slowing it right down. And Jonathan Gould's clearance straight at Craig Easton. Scoldmark in support. Winters available for the short pass. And it runs Robbie Winters' way. Kicked in by Blinker. Mahe to Burley. That's a good ball from Burley for Andy Tom. Looking to pick out the Jackie McNamara run. That was well read again by Malpass. Celtic fans screaming for handball. Malpass was very much alive to what was happening round about him. And away from Zetterlund again. Dundee United under pressure.
Yeah, Celtic's great move there was equalled only by the covering of Malpass. He got across there in the absolutely perfect position there as McNamara went in and took that move, took it out completely. But great work by Celtic.
Here's Craig Burley. Scoldmark misses it. It's Reggie Blinker. Larsson leaves it, hoping that Craig Burley might be in behind Jackie McNamara. Trying his best to win it back. Mark Petty does well. Played it off Jackie McNamara for the goal kick. But again, Celtic were threatening.
Yeah, you have to say, if you think back to last Saturday's game at Celtic Park, with the 2-goal cushion Celtic had, they went on to play some scintillating football, tore Dundee United apart, and the confidence factor was very high, and that's happening at this moment in time. If they get another goal from this sort of play, then it will be a very, very uncomfortable match for Dundee United, because Celtic are free-flowing once they start to get that little boost from being in front.
Less than 5 minutes of the 45 remaining in this first half. Not too much stoppage time to be added on. And there's sure to be a major inquiry inside the Dundee United dressing room at half-time about how they're going to get their way back into this match. Pass to Bowman. Again, Dave Bowman, no time on the ball. Weghorst immediately pressurising him. Ederson picking out the Mark Perry run. It's Stubbs covering well, although he's given it away. Aimed at Robbie Winters. And again, his permanent shadow behind him, Tom Boyd. Won his 51st Scotland Cup in Saint-Etienne earlier this month when he led out his country. Such an experienced player and so important in the Celtic defence. He's played in every defensive position this season. And Robbie Winters not too pleased to see him this afternoon. He's had little change so far. Mahe looking for Larsson. He won the header. And Scoldmark back to Dijkstra. Mishit from the Dutch keeper. And a nudge from Mahe on Easton. Spotted by Jim McCluskey. Couldn't be much better positioned for that.
Yeah, just a little foul you can see there, just nudging him off the ball. Not severe, to be honest with you. A lot of referees wouldn't give it, but the arms were up from Mahe.
The United would love to pull a goal back before half-time. Be their aim. Stephen Presley. Perry has switched sides. Scoldmark now in the left-back position. Now Presley chasing. Mix-up between Presley and Malpass. Here's Easton, it was a good turn. Took him away from Burley. Henderson against McNamara. A good all-embracing tackle that from McNamara. Doing his defensive work, in addition to the attacking threat he poses. In from Stolbark, away from Stubbs. Larsson got a touch to it, and was held off by Presley. Henrik Larsson has been a big problem for Stephen Presley in this first half.
Yeah, it's a big problem Stephen Presley has here. When Larsson gets a turn on and he's away there, he's got so much pace that Stephen Presley has to come across really and block him. Unfortunately, not to get away with that, actually, Presley, but it was definitely a foul.
He goes to Burley. Burley looking for Andy Tom. Stolbark's clearance coming off Tom. And given away again, this time by Bowman. Morris Malpass slipped. Lovely interchange between Larsson and Weghorst. In from McNamara. And the header from Andy Tom. It looked over the crossbar, but yet again, Celtic able to do as they please in the build-up. Dundee United giving away possession.
Yeah, Dundee United causing their own problems again. That would be the most worrying aspect for Tom McLean. Good play by Celtic to end up getting it wide. McNamara not thinking too much about it, just throwing in a good curl cross. Andy Tom, we're not accustomed to see him go in there and head many goals anyway. Just puts it over the bar.
Henderson. An aimless ball forward.
Big problem Dundee United have, Rob, is that in this scenario, when they're actually trying to chase the game, they're not really a creative midfield. They've got Zetland in there, Dave Bowman, and they've also got Eric Pedersen in there. Excellent if you want to go and close down players and win the ball and try and set things rolling and long passes over the top. But when it comes to actually trying to control a game, they're not the sort of players you'd want there, and Celtic definitely have the upper hand in that area at the moment.
The first 45 minutes is almost up. Plus the stoppage time to be added on by Jim McCluskey. And Celtic are going to take a very healthy cushion into that half-time team talk. Things will be a lot quieter in the Celtic dressing room than they are sure to be in the one across the corridor. Celtic just happy to play out the closing seconds of this half, keeping the ball. Looking very much in control. Mahe through the middle, and Malpass lets it run. Won by Boyd. Zetterlund knocks it forward, looking for Olofsson. Just a blinker. Henrik Larsson won another good header and gets it back. Celtic raging forward again. Good tackle though by Zetterlund. Well in was Tom Boyd. He's shown real determination today. He wants a cup winner's medal. Bowman finds Zetterlund, surely fouled, but that's half-time. And Celtic have a 2-goal lead at half-time in the Coca-Cola Cup final. Mark Rieper scored the first. Lovely cross from Morten Weghorst, which he headed past Dijkstra. And then Henrik Larsson 2 minutes later made it 2, a shot from outside the area. It took a touch off Morris Malpass and it looped over the head of Dijkstra. Celtic very much in control at half-time.
Yeah, I think Celtic definitely deserve their late. It's becoming a very difficult afternoon for Dundee United. They've not got control in the midfield. Celtic are creating more openings. They're looking as if they're playing a lot of confidence now. And unless Tommy McLean can turn it around in an attacking sense, then this is going to be Celtic's cup.
So a big job on Tommy McLean's hands during this half-time interval, because at half-time at Ibrox, it's Celtic 2, Dundee United 0.
Yes, very much Celtic's half, and Jim Duffy and Paul Sturrock with me. Jim, we were talking beforehand about the tactical battle between the two managers. I think Wim Jansen's got that one won, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he started off and he surprised everybody by playing three at the back, and particularly Tommy Boyd and Robbie Winters. I think has been a masterstroke in the first half, and he's kept their most dangerous player very quiet.
Yeah. And yet, so far, United haven't really made many changes. I'm sure we'll see something happening in the second half, because particularly at the back, Skolmark and Perry just really are having a very hard time wide, aren't they?
Well, I think the biggest problem is that Larsson's causing them concern just off the front. They've never been able to handle that today. And I do honestly think now, at 2-0 down, they've got two forward types on the bench, and knowing Tommy, it's time to chase the game, and I would expect that maybe one of the or the two of them to come on and change the system a bit.
Yeah, so we really are looking at drastic surgery, I suppose, in the United point of view, aren't we?
I think so. I think the boy Eason, who seems to be a better central midfield player than a wide right player, and Pedersen, who's mainly a defender, has played wide left and not really have got into the areas to cross the ball in. And they're not that types anyway, and they've been very stagnated in the midfield, and as I say, they can't be creative because of it. The boy Anderson is a right winger, and obviously McSwiggan. They could obviously put Olofsson over to the left, but he's got a few permutations. But in the end of the day, it's what United do now. They've got to go and have a go and get forward and try and get a goal back.
Yeah, and from Celtic's point of view, Jim, what in particular is going right, do you think?
Yeah, well, I think they've just controlled all areas of the park. I mean, defensively they've looked very sound. Midfield, Larsson and Burley have been in control, and up front, the three front players, Larsson, Tom, and Blinker, you know, both look very sharp and lively. Good movement. There was one just towards the end of the first half when you see Larsson wide crossing, and it was Tom that was in the middle. Sure. And you know, so there's a good crossover movement. They're not just staying in their positions, and they're giving United a lot of problems.
First goal came after just about 20 minutes play. In fact, the goals came within a 3-minute spell. The first one, a beautifully worked goal, Paul. Talk us through this one.
Well, it's a great pass from Amara or Tom down the right-hand side. The Weghorst actually looks up at this, and Rieper, who'd been up for a set piece, is able to finish it off. Different class header.
Yeah, but the two centre-backs are both up for it, Jim, in fact, aren't they?
Yeah, you see Alan Stubbs behind, and I think there was a play down the left earlier on, and United had everybody back behind the ball, and it allowed the two Celtic centre-halves to stay up the park because they had no one to defend. Tommy Boy was back on his own. A tremendous ball in the inside right channel, and a great cross from Morton Weghorst. You see him just looking up, actually. You see the ball getting played up here. Morton takes a wee glance up here. You see him having a wee look, so he's not just played an aimless ball in. And it's a lovely stand-up ball, a great run across the face, and you can't do nothing about a header like that. It's a goal.
Nice little near-post run by Larsson as well, Paul, which takes the defender with him, doesn't it?
Yeah, drags the whole defence towards the ball and enables the centre-half to get in. But the problem being there again, I think United had the ball in a wee passing movement and lost it, and I think the second goal they do exactly the same again.
They do indeed, yeah. Poor Mark Perry was a guilty party here, Jim, and the sort of thing that must drive a coach absolutely crazy, really, because you can't legislate for it, can you?
Well, again, they've got good possession, no one near, not even under pressure, and he's got it on his right foot just to lay it back, and he gets very sloppy on his left, and as soon as they do that, they've got problems. A great run again by Morton Weghorst, taking one of the defenders away, and he gets a wee break off Morris Malpass, and he loops over the top. But again, the movement once Celtic received the ball is very good, because they've got three players making crossover runs, and you see the replay here, Morris Malpass is telling Presley to go with the runner, and that has to delay it a little bit. You see again, it's a sloppy pass inside. Morton's ready to go for it, but he takes over, and I think you'll see Morris Malpass pointing, and Weghorst makes a crossover run, and they say the shot and the deflection, so they said all round again, good pressure play from Celtic, but I mean, Tommy McLean will be pulling his hair out.
Yeah, they're usually so well organised at the back, Paul, and largely through Morris Malpass, who obviously calls the shots at the back, but they look anxious now. They really are being given all sorts of fun, but this crossover running Jim was talking about.
Well, you know, Blinker is stuck to his wing, but Tom has floated about from inside right to outside right, but I think the real essence of it all is that Larsson is not stuck up through the middle. He's coming off the two centre-halves, which is enabling then the worrying part for the centre-backs is whether they go down tight with him, and if they don't, he turns and starts running at them, and it's been a feature of the whole first half. It's caused the Malpass and Presley all sorts of problems.
Yeah, Henrik Larsson in fact came close early on as well, Jim, and brought a good save out of Steve Dykstra in fact, so the signs were there, weren't they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, great feet for Larsson here, and he's got great skill, nutmegs the ball in the line, and obviously Dykstra reads it really well. But again, very positive. I mean, the first time he gets the ball, there's only one thing in his mind, and that's to take people on. And he's got great ability. As I said, he picks the ball up here again, and he's got 4 defenders around him, but he just head down, good close control, and very unfortunate, but good goalkeeping.
Yeah, and from United's point of view, Paul, it's hard to find any real attacking threat. They've had little flurries here, but there was never a moment when you thought, here's a goal coming, really. Kjell Olofsson perhaps still carries the biggest threat.
Well, I've been, you know, if I was Tommy, I'd be very pleased with his performance in the first half. He's been the shining light of the United team. He's attempted to get himself forward as much as possible, and he's had about 3 or 4 shots. But the difficulty for United is that Mr. Jansen has decided to man mark today, and And Rieper and Boyd have done a very good job on the two front players, not enabling United to get out and support because they can't get good ball up to their strikers because of this. And Stubbs has done a very good job of just sweeping up behind.
Yeah. Do you think Tommy McLean can put it right, Jim? I mean, is there still hope for United in this final?
Of course there is. I mean, if they get a goal back early on and the whole game changes, and the, Celtic players might get a little bit nervous because at this moment in time they've got the game won, they've got the cup in the bag, but there's 45 minutes to go. I'm a little bit like Paul. I think he'll make changes quite early on, if not half-time, very soon after half-time. Whether he brings, the two strikers on or not, or whether he changes the midfield and the strike. But I think he'll bring McSwiggan and possibly Dolan on. Yeah. And he's got to really have a go, because at this moment in time, United are Celtic are in control.
Yeah, and I think Scoldmark in particular looks to be really getting a very uncomfortable time. And Mark Perry looks, frankly, out of position for me.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think Scoldmark's playing possibly in the biggest game of his life, and and he's maybe a little bit more nervous than he would expect it to be. But until you're actually out there playing for the first time, I mean, I think if you look at Morton Veghorst, remember a couple of years back when he was at Dundee in the cup final, he had a very poor game for a player of his ability. And I think he was very nervous because, as I said, he hadn't experienced it. I think today he's revelling in the occasion. He's learned from that experience, and he's looking a top-class player.
Absolutely. One United chance we can see, came in fact from a corner kick eventually and brought a shot from Shell Olofsson, but from the United point of view, there wasn't enough of this sort of thing, Paul.
No, they stick him outside the box all the time because he's two-footed and he's got a great strike in both feet. And he's looking dejected there, but he's been the only threat. He's looked the only one possibly who's going to open the door for them. And I say to you, really in the end, as Jim has said, they've got to try and get a goal early on in this half.
All right, yeah. Midfield-wise, it's Celtic have dominated, Jim, haven't they? I mean, it's really all been going that way.
I think Gordon Smith has said that Zetterlund and Bowman, Pedersen in particular, are people who stop people playing primarily and not so much in the creative sense. Although, as I say, Bowman is a decent passer of the ball. But Jamie Dolan is a good passer of the ball, can create chances and can open things up. So I think you might see him on before too long. And as I said, then United have really got to start creating chances. I mean, the chances you're showing here are few and far between.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure, that's not good enough if you want to win games.
Yeah, I mean, it went this way last Saturday, Paul, didn't it? It went 2-0. At that stage, I think that was Tommy McLean's criticism, that his team almost chucked it at 2-0 and said, well, that's it, we've gone. They obviously can't afford to do that today. But the first 10-15 minutes are going to be vital here.
Oh, vital. At 2-0, actually, United came back into the game again. They actually started to push forward and try to create some opportunities. And obviously the first 10 minutes is going to be vital to them. I do think there will be a change very, very quickly because they have to put a bit more creativity onto the pitch. Jim has said that there's 3 midfield players in there that very little goal threat. And they've got to start thinking goals now and get themselves forward. That then leaves the back door open a wee bit, which maybe could cause them concern, but I think they've got to go for it now.
All right, well, let's assume for the moment that at half-time you'd certainly think a Celtic player might be the man of the match, but you, of course, can still phone in your entry, your prediction. As one of the United players going to be the hero in Tangerine? Well, 0891 4477 55 is the number to dial to predict our man of the match. Win yourself a night out at the Scotland-Denmark game next March. Lines close about 4:30. 0891 4477 55. So let's just leave the subject of the Coca-Cola Cup final just for a moment, because on Thursday night we'll have live coverage on BBC 2 Scotland of the World Cup draw in Marseille. That's from 6 o'clock. It's on Radio Scotland medium wave as well, and Sports Scene World Cup draw special Thursday night, 6 o'clock, BBC 2 Scotland. We shall know our fate in France next summer, and again that's a subject we can perhaps discuss just very briefly. Paul, looking from the Scottish point of view, what kind of draw would you be happy with?
I want as many hard teams in our section as possible. I think in the past we've shown a real problem against the so-called minnows. I have heard that we might be further down in the selection this year, which I think would suit us.
Really?
I honestly believe we want quality teams in our section. I think we play better against these quality teams. And in the past, if you look at back, in certain victories we've had in the past over certain really big sides. And I do think that we'd put an edge to our section.
So if we're seeded 3, you wouldn't be too upset?
I'd be delighted.
Would you go along with that, John? I must admit, I had a shudder when I saw that Iran have qualified again. That brought back some awful memories, didn't it?
No as many memories, I think, for Alan Ruff or Ali McLeod. But no, I think that Paul's quite right in the sense that, if we've got the harder games, we always seem to do well, because as a nation, we seem to expect our team to, be in the World Cup finals in terms of the latter stages. And to get there was a tremendous achievement. And if you've got the big teams, then maybe the expectations will be a little bit lesser. and allow the team to just go out and do well. And if they do well, it's an unexpected result, and we're not putting the onus on the players. So I think that Craig Brown and Alec Miller will just be, looking really forward to it. And I said I don't think they'll worry who they play.
No,
I think they've got the tactics and the organisation to cause problems for any team these days.
Of course, I mean, you take what you get. Of course, you do in any draw. But at the same time, I think Craig would be happy with European teams because he knows about European teams. You're not really frightened of too many European teams. The unknown quantities are the African nations, particularly, I think, and maybe the South Americans, because you don't quite know what you're going to get there.
Well, obviously, I'm saying you want to keep away from Brazil or types like that. But
yeah, we'll take them later.
Correct. The African nations are obviously the surprise package, and at the end of the day, as you say, you just don't know what they can achieve. South America have had problems basically in the past of how they've performed over in Europe. So as I say, it's difficult to say what's the best a mixture for us. But as I said, it would be nice to think that we were going into a game with an edge of maybe, as the also-rans, maybe trying to catch people, and I'm saying I would much prefer that than do it the other way.
Yeah, traditionally that's our best chance, isn't it? All right, well, let's leave the subject of international football. Much more of that to come on Thursday. Live coverage at World Cup draw, remember, from 6 o'clock, BBC 2 Scotland. But let's now turn our attention back to the big match here at Ibrox, the Coca-Cola Cup final. Celtic 2-0 up in Dundee United at half-time. Changes surely in that United lineup in the second half. Celtic fans have spent the half-time interval singing, as you would expect. The United fans hoping that something dramatic is going to happen from their point of view early in the second half. Maurice Malpass has seen it all before. Those United players, I'm sure, with a purposeful stride as they come out of the Ibrox tunnel. Let's go back out for live coverage of the second half with Gordon Smith and Rob McLean.
Thanks, Dougie. A crucial 45 minutes then coming up for Dundee United, if they're to haul themselves back into this Coca-Cola Cup final. It's 15 years since Celtic last won the League Cup. Assistant head coach Murdo MacLeod was playing then, and he scored the winner. 2-1 it was against Rangers. But the history books may be about to be rewritten. These Celtic fans certainly see it that way, and they're hoping their team can keep the form going that they showed in the first half, very much in control. And what Celtic can't afford to do is stop playing and sit back on the lead. But the questions at this stage in chief are being asked about Dundee United. What can they do in response? 2 goals down, Gordon.
They haven't made any changes, obviously, in the terms of the actual line-up and the players there, but I think what they have to do is keep going. The spell they had 10 minutes of putting in a lot of effort, getting the ball forward as quickly as they can, try and get Winters in the game. Tommy Boy's done a great job on him, but they really do have to get forward at Celtic and create some chances.
So Craig Easton and Dave Bowman will get the second half underway, but don't be surprised if you see a substitution early in the second half. Dundee United badly need to make something happen. Jim McCluskey checking that all is well on both sides of the pitch before he gets the second half underway. Tom Boyd gets that away as far as Eric Pedersen. Not quite sure what that was. What it certainly was wild from Pedersen. Not looking too comfortable. He's playing further forward. We're more used to seeing him in man-marking roles. Brian Laudrup knows all about him. He's done as well as anyone against Laudrup. Throw into United, which Kjell Olofsson will take. Looking for the maximum run-up. Mark Perry at the near post. There's Presley. Well won by Rieper. So difficult to beat in the air, Mark Rieper. Long ball from Blinker aiming at Larsson.
Yeah, he's been a good signing, Rieper, and tremendous near. Larsson as well is so pacey up front as well. They can suddenly release him, turn defence into attack very, very quickly. But as I said, well, Rieper and Stubbs have formed a tremendous partnership since Rieper came to the club, and I think he's brought out the best in Alan Stubbs as well.
Here's Robbie Winters, escaping the clutches of Tom Boyd for once, and he's won himself a free kick just a few yards outside the penalty area.
It was quite a game, and I think it was just Martin Baycost that got hold of him there. He seemed to go down late in the actual foul itself, but opportunity again maybe for Olofsson to have a crack.
There's the Walmorton Vikhorst organising. Larsson, Tom, Jackie McNamara's there, Reggie Blinker too. Over the ball, Michelle Olofsson, it struck well! He really got hold of that one, did Olofsson. And if that had been on target, Jonathan Gould wouldn't have known too much about it.
Yeah, you've got to say, that's, I think, is the closest shot today from Olofsson, just off target, just going slightly wide. As you say, I don't think that Jonathan Gould had any chance if that had been on target. What a tremendous strike that is. You feel Olofsson deserves a goal the way he's been shooting today. Definitely the biggest threat Dundee United have had to have against Celtic.
So an encouraging start to the second half for United. They need the encouragement, not much doubt about that. Away from Malpass. A high ball from Alan Stubbs. Henrik Larsson unable to keep that in. Burley trying to pull the ball down. Skoldmark started at right back, now left back. Olofsson made the run, Alan Stubbs did the covering. He's played on an English losing Coca-Cola Cup final side. That was Bolton against Liverpool 2 years ago. In from Winters. Olofsson almost there, but calm defending from Rieper. There was pressure on there for Rieper, and he dealt with it so well. Now Celtic countering with Blinker and Burley. Easton and Zetterlund were closing him down. Jackie McNamara shouted for it and now gets it. Tom on the touchline, took his eye off it. It's blame the turf time for Andy Tom. Pettersson to Olofsson. And Zetterlund, the three Scandinavians. Reggie Blinker, quick change of direction away from Dave Bowman. The shot cannoning off Mark Perry.
Yeah, first time Winters is really away in this second half from his marker. Good ball into the near post there. Rieper very, very cool to play a little pass into Stubbs' feet. Most defenders would normally just blast that away.
Here's Morten Vikhorst. Again, good vision, opening play out for McNamara. Trying to get in behind Pettersson. That looks like a foul on McNamara. Pettersson protests, but that will do no good.
Yeah, I might be wrong, Rob, myself. I thought he played the ball there, to be fair. I thought that Jackie McNamara got slightly beyond him, but I feel that Pettersson just got the touch on the ball here as Jackie McNamara went in and played it away, but the foul has been given.
Jim McCluskey not listening to Gordon Smith. He's given the free kick. Henrik Larsson over the ball. Alan Stubbs, Andy Tom. And Jackie McNamara just at the corner of your screen there. Dundee United will be keeping an eye on him. Blinker in the box. Stubbs and Rieper there too. That's a miscue on the diving header at the far post from Zetterlund. Luckily for him, it dropped to a teammate. Stephen Presley, maybe a touch theatrical with the dive, but he does get the free kick. It goes against Stefan Mai.
What we really need, Rob, is a little link up to referees from the commentary box, isn't it? Just to help them with their decisions along the way.
I take it that's so that you can advise him rather than him advise you?
Yes.
Winters has escaped the clutches of Boyd once in the second half. That will give him some hope that he can do more damage. 2 goals against Aberdeen in the semi-final for Robbie Winters. Always a late starter in terms of form, but he's really come onto his game in recent weeks. Presley to Winters. Henrik Larsson, good reverse pass, looking for the Andy Tom run. The pass was just a bit too strong, but it was a good run and a good attempt by Larsson.
That's actually where Tom will be dangerous, I think, when Larsson comes off and picks up the ball there as he does well in front of the defenders, and Tom will make runs in from the side, very, very pacey, and if ball had been timed properly, he would have been in behind, but just overstruck the Larsson.
Presley again looking for Winters. Tommy Boyd first there. Tommy Boyd, a loser against Raith Rovers in this final 3 years ago, and he desperately wants to make up for that. You can see from the way Boyd's playing his determination. The dead ball situation means Kjell Olofsson. Plenty in the box to aim at here. Everyone missed it. Up goes Jonathan Gould. That came off Andy Tom. There hasn't been too much excitement in front of Jonathan Gould, but every sign that he may be a fair bit busier in the second half. A push on Larsson.
There's a strong free kick from Olofsson there, swung to the back post there, slight chance, and it just comes off Tom. I mean, some of the Dundee United fans shouting for a free kick.
Left by Vikhorst for Burley. Now Tom, looking for support from McNamara. Larsson couldn't quite get the return pass, back to Andy Tom.
The idea was right. Tom's actually had a quiet afternoon, you have to say. Plays a little 1-2, comes inside, looking for the little flick back in the path, and Larsson trying to be a bit clever there, ends up making a mess of it and then knocking it too long. But you know, they did link up very well last Saturday, but they've never really got it going so far in this game.
Andy Tom trying to loft that over the head of Stephen Presley. And a pass there from Dave Bowman that was always expecting far too much of Craig Easton. The link up in the middle, still not happening effectively enough for United. Wide looking for Larsson, won by Malpass. It drops for Blinker, who stumbled as the ball came to him. Now Bowman. It's for Winters. But it's 1 against 2 for Kjell Olofsson, and Alan Stubbs was first there.
He's been a spare player all afternoon. The Boyd marking Winters, it's allowed Stubbs to be free. Normally you would have the two strikers picking up and zonally, as I mentioned before, but Rieper is picking up Olofsson. Done a fair job on him, apart from the fact that Olofsson's had a few shots, but some of them are free kicks. But Stubbs has always been free, and he's played the position well.
A succession of throw-ins for United. Mark Perry started at left back, now moving up the right-hand side. But a lot of solidity about this Celtic defending. Winters with the pass for Perry, but away from Blinker. Returned by Presley. Big roar goes round Ibrox as Blinker finds Vikhorst. It's a surging run. Here's Andy Tom, and a good save by Sieb Dijkstra. A real chance for Celtic's third there, but Andy Tom foiled by the diving stop at the edge of the area.
A great run by Vikhorst, you have to say, bringing players towards him, pushing in Andy Tom. I'm sure he had no idea Dijkstra was going to come as far out as goal. That's very, very good goalkeeping. You'll see Tommy, by the time he looks up, he realises that Dijkstra's coming out. I don't think he thought he'd be as far out as his goals as that at all.
Possession given away by United again to Blinker, but Blinker's pass a poor one. And scold marks straight to Jackie McNamara. United in disarray. Good pass from Tom. Can McNamara pull it back? It's a good ball in. It's away from Perry. It drops for Burley, charged down by Bowman. The United area under siege. Tom again unable to control it, dispossessed by Zetterlund. Pedersen obstructed by McNamara. And some respite for United, who are under all sorts of pressure and not helping themselves by constantly giving away possession.
Yeah, it's a Skolmark who's come off. Already got the booking, remember, after the tackle on Blinker in the first half. He switched in this second half to left side of the defence, with Perry going to the better side on the left. He's always more comfortable on that side.
and he's going off, McSwiggan's on, so I think they're taking a bit of a chance defensively now, Dundee United, but I think they have to do that because they need more forwards on. They need to try and put Celtic's defence under pressure.
You've seen the change which has just taken place. Magnus Skoldmark, who was earlier booked, is off, and Gary McSwiggan, who's the joint top scorer in the Coca-Cola Cup with 5 goals in this campaign, has come on. So United have to go for it, they know that. So McSwiggan on, now up alongside Winters. Free kick in from Olofsson, disappointing, away from Burley. And again, Andy Tom first there for Celtic. Tom looked as if he might be out the door at Celtic at one point, but he's reconstructed his career here. Good ball up from Tom. Spotted Weghorst. Perfect pace on the pass. It's another great run from Weghorst. Here's Blinker. That's well charged down. Yet again a pacey attack from Celtic, moving at real pace.
Yeah, a flowing move. Tom, a terrific ball, but look at the run with Weghorst. Excellent there. Gets it wide. Blinker probably a little bit under pressure. Maybe should have cut inside or cut it across goal, the side of the shot. But Weghorst, tremendous power in his running this afternoon.
And Weghorst in the penalty area for this Reggie Blinker corner kick. Driven towards Rieper, away from Olofsson. Andy Tom trying to work the opening for a shot. Instead it's back to Burley and now McNamara. Lofted up again, Weghorst and Stubbs there, away from Presley. It was a header well won. Now Robbie Winters with Craig Easton alongside him. Zetterlund and McSwiggan are up ahead of him. Zetterlund touches it back for Olofsson. Came off Rieper. Disappointing effort that from Kjell Olofsson. And now Weghorst, another good pass for Larsson. Nobody in the middle for Celtic. Larsson will need to hold this up while reinforcements arrive, unless he does it all himself. Here's Blinker. It's a good run this from Reggie Blinker. And a good ball in! That's number 3, and it's Craig Burley. The match winner in the semi-final scores the goal that may well clinch Celtic's win in the Coca-Cola Cup final.
Well, that's killed it for Dundee United as far as I'm concerned. Good play, good going forward. Blinker does well though because he skips across a couple of tackles, goes wide, but he knocks it in the box. Burley's there to finish it off. A tremendous header from close range. Doesn't normally get as far forward. Little shades he might have been offside, I thought, when the ball came in. But he's been given onside. That's an excellent header. Puts the game for me beyond Dundee United totally. But good work again with Blinker here because a very, very tight angle managed to throw that ball in the box. And Burley is the one who fires it away. This one, Dundee United taking a major chance by taking off one of their full-backs, putting on another forward in order to try and get something from the game. Suddenly find themselves short at the back. Celtic go 3-0 up.
That's Craig Burley's 6th Celtic goal. And he has a habit of making them important goals. And there would now appear to be no way back for Dundee United. Craig Burley had a miserable FA Cup final 6 months ago when Ruud Gullit left him out of the Chelsea side. But he's going to make up for that today by the looks of it. His goal, the 3rd, Celtic 3-0 up. And again Burley racing forward, looking to get on the end of the Blinker pass. And this was the reaction on the Celtic bench as that 3rd goal went in.
Definitely all the boys there on the bonus, Rob, when you look at that. They're all counting their bonus, those guys on the bench there when that 3rd goal went in.
McSwiggan gets himself away from first McNamara and trying to get away from Tom Boyd, and Gary McSwiggan appeared to lash out there. But Jim McCluskey was certainly close enough to know exactly what was going on. Meanwhile, Mark Penny is grounded. And Jim McCluskey will now sort things out. He's about to have words with McSwiggan.
I think he'll get a booking. I would be very surprised if he didn't, because he did have a swipe up. Tommy Boyd had a go, but now Mr McCluskey feels it just out of frustration. He's letting it go. I thought he would have got a booking for that. But Tommy Boyd was definitely pulling at him as he tried to play it away, and Boyd goes in with a challenge, and you'll see Swigan gets up with not much of it at all.
It's almost impossible to make yourself heard inside Ibrox now. These Celtic fans are up for a celebration. In from Bowman, looking for Mark Perry. Celtic have won only one trophy in the 90s, and how they will celebrate if they can make it two. Away from Weghorst, back in from Presley. And the free kick going Celtic's way, free kick given against Kjell Olofsson. And the contender for the Man of the Match award, surely, Gordon, must be Morten Weghorst.
Yeah, he's a contender, Robin. I'm not going to tell you for another 5 minutes who I've given it to. But there's a few Celtic players that are up for it this afternoon. Some tremendous performances. Unfortunately, I can't find the Dundee United team to quite match it and actually be in contention for the award. But Olofsson, I think, of all the United players, is the best game.
Blinker got himself away from Zetterlund, but couldn't escape the clutches of Presley. Presley does well. Bonus Malpass will keep trying till the 90 minutes are up, but he must be so disappointed. This has gone so badly wrong for his team. Easton pressured by Weghorst, and Presley forced into the back pass. Tommy McLean must wonder what he can do now. Good touch from McSwiggan.
Yeah, you always get to a stage as a manager or a coach on the bench when you know there's not a lot you can do and there's not a lot you can say that's going to change things around. It's just not Dundee United's afternoon today, and Celtic are going to pick up the trophy unless there's some remarkable turnaround here. The thing that he'll not want is to be embarrassed by this. He'll want to maybe see his team get a goal at least back and certainly not lose anymore.
Bowman to Pettersson. United trying to regain some composure. McSwiggan's pass goes astray. And Mark Rieper happy just to knock that up towards the halfway line. Won by Bowman. Zetterlund, now Winters. Taking on Mai. Good ball into the near post, away from Stubbs. Alan Stubbs firmly in control. It's been a good combination with Rieper since Mark Rieper arrived from West Ham United. It was what Celtic badly needed. And facing up now to this Olofsson throw. Out was Jonathan Gould. A glorious scramble in the area. It's back to Olofsson. And to the left foot now. Away from McNamara. Mark Perry's back header. Blinker trying to get himself out of a tight situation, and that does it. Reggie Blinker, who played such a big part in that third Celtic goal, good skill, and the final ball in was perfection. And he's proving himself pretty adept at kicking to touch as well. Celtic not too bothered about the quality of the game at this stage. They're 25 minutes away from Cup winners' medals. Bowman picking out the Perry run. Useful ball in, but nobody there. Jonathan Gould was first to it. Presley finds Bowman. Presley's pass straight to Blinker. Chase on here. Larsson against Presley. A missed kick from Presley, but it did manage to cross that far touchline. It's a dispiriting time this. It must be difficult for United to keep this going.
Yeah, it is. There's plenty of time to go in terms of getting goals back. I mean, so to get a goal quite soon, you'd see a great lift in the side, but it's not the way that they're playing at the moment. I mean, I don't remember Jonathan Gold having a save to make so far in the game, and when you consider it, neither has Dykstra.
Pettersson comes away with the ball and then gives the pass straight to Tom Boyd. Won back by Craig Easton. This will be a huge learning experience for Easton. Zetterlund. Easton slipped as the ball was coming towards him. Now McNamara. And Blinker. Blinker growing in confidence. Perry's clearance. Won back by Weghorst, who hasn't stopped all afternoon. Full of industry, Morten Weghorst, and full of vision as well. Boyd's pass cut out by Bowman. Presley to Easton. Not much fluidity though about United as they push up. Flicked on by McSwaggan. He was looking for Zetterlund, but it was read well by Tom Boyd. It's a miscue from Larsson. Heading to Winters. Very quickly closed down by Stefan Mai. United will try again.
The Celtic are getting very quickly behind the ball, Rob, and they're just making sure the game's in front of them. They're not going to get caught out. They're leaving very, very little space for United to play into, and consequently they're having possession at the moment, and they're not really getting any openings. Small pass on the ball, looking for people to try and play into, but it's difficult to find any real gaps.
That's a free kick for the foul on Kjell Olofsson. But it's a disjointed Dundee United. The goal would give them some faint hope. Perry, McSwaggan, Presley, Olofsson, all in the area. Tom Boyd won the header. Reggie Blinker lost it. Robbie Winters couldn't capitalise. Now Burley. Jackie McNamara. Kept that in. Pettersson with Presley. Pass surging forward. Now Perry is back on his left-hand side again. That was well played by Henrik Larsson, and he's fouled by Craig Easton. And Craig Easton will be booked for that challenge. Too many tricks from Larsson.
Well, he's a good young player, Craig Easton, but he certainly won't remember this final with much fondness at the moment. He's hardly got in the game, and it's an unfortunate challenge there. Larsson just came in, intercepted it, took it off him, and was bursting through. Say Celtic dropping behind the ball as much as they can at the moment, keeping the ball they play in front of them, and then Dundee trying to make their passes, intercepting them, and they're trying to hit them on the break.
The pass finds Henrik Larsson. Tackle from behind, free kick not given. It was Dave Bowman's challenge, and Larsson is still grounded. Tim McCluskey was certainly close enough to make the decision, but the Celtic supporters are far from happy. Maurice Malpass knocks the ball out of play so that Larsson can get some attention.
Yeah, it was a strong challenge. I think it's just the way it went in. I don't think there was any intent on Dave Bowman's part to cause injury there at all. He was low in the challenge, his feet weren't high at all. Just the way he slid through, ended up with Larsson falling awkwardly. And I think they're very sporting there in Morris Malpass also to knock the ball out of play. I know his own supporters weren't happy with him, but it's good to see that. And Morris Malpass has always been, as I said before in my piece earlier on, one of the gentlemen of the Scottish game.
Wim Jansen's 25th game as Celtic head coach looks set to have a silver lining. And Henrik Larsson is back on his feet. And in true sporting fashion, the ball given back to Dundee United. Long raking ball from Presley. It was aimed at McSwaggan. Tom Boyd's climbed for the header. McSwaggan, who scored that spectacular goal here against Rangers in the quarter-finals, which knocked out the holders. Winters unable to get away from Mai. Blinker's pass looking for Larsson. Pedersen's pass. And another strong contender for man of the match, Tom Boyd. Yet again, he was there before the orange shirt. Celtic solid defensively, Gordon.
Very solid. No clear-cut openings for United at all in this game. No chances, no shots on goal to bring a save, even a goal so far.
Olofsson throw headed away by Weghorst. It was Dave Bowman's shot. Back with Pedersen, and now Olofsson again. He's got some room here. Knocked the ball into the box that Dundee United were hoping for. McSwaggan came off Weghorst. Back on the left foot of Kjell Olofsson this time. And away from Boyd. Pedersen. Chance for Winters at the near post. Couldn't get a connection to it. Stubbs got there. That was a decent half chance at the near post for Robbie Winters. Dundee United get the decision, and Tom Boyd has something to say about it. Presley and Perry both up for the free kick. Balls for Olofsson. Well charged down by Rieper. Got an important right boot to that. McNamara against Perry. Olofsson to Easton. Now McSwaggan finds some space. Well off target with the shot.
Yeah, it was unlucky. Good little bit of football there. Easton playing it in there. McSwaggan did really well there to avoid the first challenge. Burley get himself in a scoring position. A lot of players in front of him. You can see there that Rieper made it difficult for him to get a clear-cut shot and goal, and he just snatched it. And once again, missing the target from Dundee United's point of view.
The header was won by Dave Bowman, then he was clattered by his teammate Morris Malpass. And needs a moment to collect himself. He expects a few physical tussles in the midfield, but not from Morris Malpass.
Well, they've tackled each other already in this game, Rob, and having another collision there, and Dave Bowman came out the worst out it. But once again, Jim McCluskey doing well, stopping the game immediately. A head knock should always be pulled up so that they can get treatment right away. You don't know how serious the injury is. This will start the game, and they'll start the game again, obviously, with a bounce ball here. But so the game has taken a little bit of a lull. United will have a few shots at goal. Unfortunately, one or two of them there, I felt, blocks, good blocks from Celtic, though ball's not quite getting on target. But they've just got to keep going and trying to get some sort of consolation from the game. At least if they can score with 15 minutes as there is to go now, they could maybe even force a little bit of pressure and make the game a bit more exciting. At the moment, it's reasonably, I would say, reasonable to say it's all over as a contest.
49,305 inside Ibrox, and at the moment it's the Celtic contingent who are happy, and the Dundee United supporters deflated. Jackie McNamara, Andy Tom inside, Henrik Larsson in the box. And that came off Craig Easton for a Celtic corner. Easton, an under-21 international. Disappointing day for him, but he'll learn from this. Wallace Malpass has been through it all before. Reggie Blinker getting the positioning exactly right. The Celtic look for number 4. Up was Rieper. Didn't get a connection. It was a huge leap by the Dane.
Really is a danger. The opposition defence is now tremendous in the air, and I thought he made a great run, and I think he was disappointed he didn't get the touch here, because you can see there, Steve Dykstra was totally lost, and I think if Mark Rieper had got the flick on there, that would have been in the net. But both he and Stults today, have caused constant danger when they're caught for set pieces.
Larsson controlling the ball well under pressure, finding Blinker and Burley. It's a good ball for Andy Tom. Here's Weghorst in behind Malpass. What can Weghorst do? Henrik Larsson couldn't quite get there. Again, it's superb play from Weghorst. He left Maurice Malpass for dead. And cut back. It's very dangerous. Larsson couldn't quite make the most of it. Now Winters on the counter. Olofsson making ground into the box. Away from Stubbs, back to Winters. And the shot from Winters not carrying too much menace.
Yeah, it was great action at both ends, wasn't it? This was a good little reverse pass from Tom. Look at the skill from Weghorst there. A little flick, cuts it right back into the path of Larsson. Couldn't quite get on the end of it, well defended, but Dundee United also had a great break as well, and finally getting a shot on target. Not the best of hits you've got to say for Winters, but at least he brought a save out of Jonathan Gould.
Pedersen away from Blinker. McSwiggan's available. It was aimed for Craig Easton. But it was Jackie McNamara in the way, doing some good work. Concedes the corner kick.
And well, good run from Easton, Rob, just before that as well, to create the chance for Winters. Finally bursting into this game, showing good pace and good vision with the pass forward.
It's in from McSwiggan's head. A looping header, but not too much of a problem for Jonathan Gould. McSwiggan looking to link up with somebody. That wasn't so much an attempt at scoring with a header. It was more to try and set up a teammate. Andy Tom is onside. This could be number 4 now. And Tom's missed it. From just the sort of position he scored one of his 2 goals last Saturday. That looked as if it must be number 4 for Celtic.
Yeah, looked it all the way. Look at this run. Good little break forward. Mark Perry playing him onside. Does everything correctly except hit the target. That would really have put it beyond Dundee United there, but Andy and Tom were disappointed with that. Funnily enough, last Saturday he missed a chance just before he scored. He's coming off as well, the last action of the game. Been a bit embarrassing for that, because that substitution was already being made as he went through. And if he put that in the net, I wonder if Wim Jansen would have changed his mind quickly. Simon Dorling get the opportunity to come on here and grace this game. Good early season form, just lost his pace. And Andy Tom, who fought his way back into the side only a week ago, comes off, and he should have scored. He'll know it himself. He'll be very disappointed. He sits down now that he didn't put that away, and gives Celtic a 4-0 lead.
And Simon Donnelly has been a first-team regular for so long, coming off the bench, looking to add to his 3 Coca-Cola Cup goals already in this campaign. In went Kjell Olofsson, unable to put the shot on target.
Good ball to the back post, guy McSwiggan there, and unlucky Olofsson. He just came in, put off a little bit by Mark Rieper's presence, but an opportunity goes begging again.
The back header from Tom Boyd after Henrik Larsson felt he should have had a free kick for the challenge from Presley. That's Maurice Malpass's header, and Jackie McNamara will be in no great hurry to retrieve this. No free kick given for that. Simon Donnelly beaten to the ball by Craig Easton. 10 goals this season for Celtic, Simon Donnelly. But will be looking over his shoulder, as others will as well, with Celtic contemplating the purchase of a striker. Could well be Norwegian Harald Brattbakk. Stubbs and Mai pushing up for Celtic. And Presley's pass came off Stubbs. And behind for a goal kick. Celtic will take a lot of pride from this performance, and they'll be keen too that they don't concede a goal. They put a blot on the copybook right at the end of it.
Yeah, I think it's already, well, no matter what happens the last 8 minutes, it's been an impressive performance again today. Dundee United were one of the leading lights in the Scottish game in recent weeks, and in the space of about 9 days, Celtic have destroyed them on 2 occasions.
The ball in from Pedersen. It came off the back of Mark Rieper's head. There was an angry exchange there between Rieper and Gould. I think Mark Rieper felt that Jonathan Gould should have come for this. Corner kick. In from Olofsson. Came off the top of Stubbs' head. Here's Zetterlund. Jackie McNamara's clearance. And a bit of arm wrestling from Craig Easton on Henrik Larsson. And a fairly clear free kick there.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. I think a bit frustrated though, Larsson just holding him off his body there. Wraps his arm around his neck and pulls him back. And already having a yellow card, I think that Mr. McCluskey was being fairly lenient with the youngster, and considering it's such an important game in his first final.
Presley's header finds Perry. Easton was always a bit tight to the touchline to try and get round Jackie McNamara. McNamara gets it back from Burley. Good play this from Jackie McNamara. He's away from Easton, and again. Cut back for Burley. Falls for Weghorst. Away from Zetterlund. And the effort from Stefan Mai on his right foot, not the favoured one, and the shot off target. Another good attack, superb play on the right hand side from Jackie McNamara. And there's your man of the match, Morten Weghorst of Celtic. And a very deserved award. What a game he's had. Winters making what must be a lung-bursting run right at the end of the match. Unable to evade Burley and McNamara. Presley finds Easton, his pass comes off Reggie Blinker. Celtic again pushing for goal number 4. Good tackle though by Presley, that was very well timed. As Stefan Mai pushed up. So important. Discipline is kept until the match is over.
Yeah, you have to keep plugging away when you're down in this situation in a final. So you're playing for your pride more than anything else. You know you're not going to win the game at this stage. So one thing you don't want to do is, as I said, embarrassment. Andy Tom could have added to the embarrassment if he'd stuck that away, and they certainly wouldn't want to give away any more opportunities.
Craig Burley making a run. His main concern is that a few more seconds are ticking away. Now not much more than 4 minutes remaining when one adds on stoppage time. Rieper to Donnelly, and here's Jackie McNamara. Henrik Larsson on the penalty spot. Weghorst finds Donnelly. Celtic keeping the ball well at the edge of the area. It's a chasing game for United. And a free kick given for Olofsson's challenge, which looked more clumsy than malicious, but Jackie McNamara in need of some assistance.
Yeah, I think that he just dwelled on it a little bit long. I mean, you can't make any excuses for the foul on him, but he was holding that ball a little bit longer than he should have. There was a great opportunity to knock it inside to Craig Burley, and the play would have been switched immediately with Burley's ability to do that. Look at, you can just see how he's dwelling on it there, taking his time over it when he really should have been playing it, and he was kept himself out of trouble. But the challenges are coming in. But a great moment for Tommy Boyd, this I would say, after the disappointment of being part of that team that played against Wraith Rovers a few years back, Rob, and finally getting an opportunity. Wim Jansen, first trophy available in Scotland since he came over, and he's going to be the winning manager, and I think that's a great testimony to his start in Scottish football as well.
Just 5 months into the job as head coach at Celtic, and Wim Jansen, whatever else he's done, has always stuck to his guns. He's always felt that his system was right. As Jonathan Gould gives it away straight to Olofsson, a chance for some consolation for United, but it won't come from that. That maybe sums up United's afternoon. A shot from long range from Olofsson, but it's sliced off the outside of his right boot. Meanwhile, Celtic prepare to make a substitution, and it's Paul Lambert who's going to come into the play with just a few minutes left. And Reggie Blinker makes way, and I think he will have done a fair bit today to atone for disappointing performances in the Old Firm matches. But he has made a big contribution today.
Yeah, I think one of his better games in the Celtic strip, you've got to say. Mines will be delighted because he has been disappointing in certain games, but having laid on that third goal, I'm sure the Celtic fans will be delighted with him today. Paul Lambert getting an opportunity. First final he's played since May, when he was played in the European Cup final. Not such a big game today, but a very important one from Paul. He hasn't got a League Cup medal and the Coca-Cola Cup medal, and it'll be difficult to get one.
Clearance from Dijkstra as Henrik Larsson raced in. Missed completely by McSwiggan. And McNamara finds Donnelly. Boyd for Weghorst. Does so well again. In from Boyd. Henrik Larsson's header. Won the header very well. Couldn't quite direct it away from Dijkstra. But for a small man, he's only 5'10". He wins a lot of ball in the air.
Superb play again, involving Tommy Boyd and Weghorst. He does really well here to get a header in, because it shouldn't really have with the size of the defenders that were in that box. But good work again. No power in the header though.
Burley to McNamara. Fouled by McSwiggan. And the winner of the man of the match competition, he picked Morten Weghorst, Lindsay Cruikshank from Blairgowrie. Well done to you. As Celtic make another change, it's another yellow card being handed out by Jim McCluskey. Gary McSwiggan is being booked.
I think that's excellent from the manager's point of view, that he's giving Paul Lambert and Rico Annoni an opportunity to go on and at least play some sort of part in this game. They're wondering, I think it was going to be Mark Rieper who was going to come off, I think, but they're a bit worried here that Jackie McNamara has got a knock, and I think it looks like he'll be the one that will come off, and Rico Annoni will go in for him. So a bit of a late challenge here from Gary McSwiggan. He got the yellow card for it very, very late in the game, and I think Jackie McNamara will come off it. But tremendous applause, and rightly deserved. Excellent game from McNamara's point of view. He's one of my candidates for the man of the match. I think Weghorst was just ahead of him in terms of his overall contribution, but Jackie McNamara has had a superb game, and that's Celtic now used their full squad of 14 players.
We've played a minute of stoppage time. And Celtic not far away from a major celebration. Celtic have won the Coca-Cola Cup final. Their first League Cup win for 15 years. How sweet it is for Tom Boyd
who along with Simon Donnelly was a loser here against Raith Rovers 3 years ago. And for Craig Burley as well. Missed out on the FA Cup win with Chelsea last season, left out by Ruud Gullit. But he has been a big performer for Celtic today and scored the third goal in the second half, which sealed the triumph. A big night of celebration ahead for these Celtic supporters who've been disappointed in the last few weeks that a draw and a defeat was all they could get from the Old Firm matches. But they've won the first silverware of this Scottish football season. Mark Rieper, who looked earlier in the week as if he wouldn't play in the match, he scored the goal which started it all for Celtic after 20 minutes. With a towering header from Morten Vikhorst's cross. And now Wim Jansen is with Chick.
Wim, congratulations. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I think it was a good game and we deserved the game today. We play well.
Were you surprised that the victory was so comfortable?
No, before the game we will know it will be a hard game and we will prepare for it, and I think we play very well.
You can hear the sense of relief and enjoyment of the Celtic fans out there. How do you feel? I mean,
yeah, it's very nice to hear them singing here.
Do you realise how much this means to them, how long they've waited?
Yeah, of course, I understand this. They waited a very long time, so I'm happy for them they have the cup.
What do you want to say to them now? Where does Celtic go from here?
No, I think the supporters are very good to us and they help us today again to win this cup.
Morten Vikhorst, the man of the match. Is that what you saw?
I think my team play well. That's very important for me.
It's the same, Wim. You're still very relaxed and calm. We thought we might see a new Wim Jansen.
Yeah, but that's normal. You always win and lose in the team, and I think as a team we play very well today.
What's it going to take for you to really see this? Let yourself go and relax and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's very nice, especially to see all the crowd now.
Yeah, you're going to celebrate tonight, though, I would suggest.
Yeah, of course.
I'll let you go and enjoy these celebrations. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's Reggie Blinker donning some natty headgear to celebrate. He's had a difficult few weeks, but he really bounced back to form today, and Celtic needed him. And it was his precision ball in which set up Craig Burley for Celtic's third goal, which finally killed off any prospect of resistance from Dundee United. And there's Morten Vikhorst in surely what must be his best game in the green and white hoops for Celtic. He looked under Tommy Burns as if he might well be on the way out, but he's forced his way back in. He's very much a Wim Jansen type of player. He's fitted into the system that Wim Jansen has built. And in the head coach's 25th game in charge, Celtic will be presented with the Coca-Cola Cup. These are the pictures you'll be seeing in your newspapers tomorrow morning. There's Jonathan Gould, who right through this Coca-Cola Cup campaign hasn't conceded a goal. That's a tremendous record he'll take away with him, having been plucked from the obscurity of Bradford City reserves. And who can forget Gould's save in the semi-final against Dunfermline, which saved Celtic from extra time. Lots of happy faces there, and lots of happy faces among the Celtic supporters as well. A second trophy in the 90s, and they will hope that this signals a real Celtic revival. Let's hear now from Henrik Larsson.
Henrik, congratulations. How does this feel? How does this party feel to you?
It feels very nice. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It's tremendous. Just look around and you see for yourself.
Were you surprised? You won by so convincingly?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but we started off good and we got an early goal, and then we scored the second one rather fast after that one, and then it was finished, I think.
Do you understand the relief of these Celtic supporters? They think this is the start of something very big for you.
We hope so, and we hope that there's many to come, but we shall see in the future.
Tremendous atmosphere, yeah?
Yeah, very nice atmosphere.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
The Celtic supporters can't wait for this ceremony to take place. They've waited long to see more silverware after Pierre van Hooydonk's goal, which won the 10th Scottish Cup final in 1995.
Let's hear from Mark Rieper.
Mark, congratulations. How does this feel?
Brilliant, unbelievable atmosphere. It's fantastic. In the first cup final I played in Scotland to get a great result and win.
You must have enjoyed that goal.
Very much so, but more important was that we got a good start and a good win.
You're very, very happy you came to Celtic.
I'm very, very happy here, yeah.
What do you want to say to these Celtic supporters?
They're unbelievable, and I couldn't have wished it for anyone else from them. They've been tremendous, even in a bad time, so good luck to them as well.
All the best tonight.
Thank you very much.
Well, Chick was speaking there with Mark Rieper. The Dundee United players have been receiving their runners-up medals and trooping disconsolately down the Ibrox tunnel. Never a happy day for the losing team. They came here with high hopes despite having lost 4-0 at Celtic Park in the league last weekend. They were convinced today would be a different day and it could be their day, but that's not the way it's turned out. They've been swept aside by a Celtic team who played with a lot of style. The match officials receiving their commemorative medals as well, as the Celtic fans prepare to greet their heroes. And Tom Boyd, who suffered in 1994 against Raith Rovers, will now milk the moment. It was his 32nd birthday last Monday, and he now takes delivery of the Coca-Cola Cup. Jonathan Gould, a lot of people thought he was a stopgap when he was signed from Bradford City, but he's made that #1 jersey his own. Alan Stubbs, Craig Burley, what a signing he's been for Celtic. Stephen May, £500,000 from Rennes, he's been a good signing. Mark Rieper, who scored that first goal. Man of the match, Morten Vikhorst. Yes, that is Enrico Annone somewhere underneath the colourful wig. And despite enjoying just a few moments of it, Enrico Annone is celebrating with the best of them. Andy Tom, and there's Reggie Blinker and Henrik Larsson. Larsson's 13th goal as a Celtic player was #2 in this 3-0 win. And there will be more than a few sing-songs going on tonight as these Celtic supporters celebrate a glorious triumph. On the pitch, the photographs are being taken. Emotional scenes inside Ibrox. The Celtic players joining with the supporters in the singing of "You'll Never Walk Alone." And everyone in Celtic colours will be hoping that today's win signals the dawning of a new era. Now comes the challenge for the title. Celtic supporters feel they've got to be in with a chance of that as well. There's a long way to go for that challenge, but this will give Celtic a huge confidence boost. And Wim Jansen is sure to be adding personnel to the Celtic first-team squad as the season goes on. As we prepare to hear from Morten Vikhorst.
Morten, congratulations, man of the match. What about the atmosphere in here? Fantastic.
Absolutely magnificent. You can see what these supporters. I'm delighted for them.
Did you enjoy that? Yeah, great. What, your finest game in a Celtic jersey, perhaps?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Maybe your best game in a Celtic jersey?
Possibly, but I'm not really bothered. This is about Celtic. This is about team performance, and all the lads are delighted to have won the cup.
This is one of the great moments for you. You love it. You're one of the great moments in your life.
Definitely.
Very emotional, aren't you? Enjoy it. Go and enjoy it.
And Chick maybe doing what was the tightest marking job in Morten Weghorst all afternoon, but what a game he had. He will have enjoyed that immensely and really secured his future as a Celtic player. Very much part of Wim Jansen's plans. A lot of people expected Paul Lambert to feature in the Celtic team this afternoon. He was struggling with an injury, but Morten Weghorst very much a Wim Jansen type of player, and he really responded with a performance full of confidence, full of maturity. The scorer of the Celtic third goal, Craig Burley.
Craig, unbelievable atmosphere, is it not? This must be a bit worth coming back for.
Well, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, that's why we signed, and so many new players here, and it's a fresh start for everybody. Let's hope we can go on from here. But a tremendous performance today.
Yeah, the Celtic fans want to know what happens next. Where do you go from here?
Well, let's hope we can go on and win the championship, but they've failed 9 times now, and let's hope we can do it this season. We think we can, but we've got a lot of improvement to do.
There's some support behind you as well.
Oh, tremendous. They got right behind us all the game, and now we give them 3 goals to shout about, and I'm sure they'll have a great night tonight.
I think you're all going to have a good night tonight. Go and enjoy it. Thanks.
Craig Burley was as disappointed as anyone with the 2 Old Firm performances, and the fact that Celtic can only get 1 point out of a possible 6. But they've bounced back here in some style, and they've given a strong answer to the doubters who reckon that they're not quite ready to have a full tilt at the title. Burley and Celtic will hope that this is just a stepping stone towards a serious challenge for the championship. As we've been saying, Tommy Boyd was a disappointed man when Celtic lost to Rieper. He's happy now and he's with Chick.
Tommy, you're enjoying this. This certainly exercises the ghost of that Wraith Rovers game, doesn't it?
Oh, certainly, we've not the best of record when we've come here, but I'll tell you, I much prefer it to be like this than the last time.
I think that all the Celtic fans really believe now this is the start of something big for you.
Well, that's what we hope. I mean, we've got a quality player here that we think is just a start. The main aim is to win the league this year, and you know, we're not too far behind at the moment. So if we can kind of run and hope this will give us all the confidence that we need.
This is some atmosphere, is it not?
It's about time we give them something to shout about.
You just want to taste more and more of it, presumably, from now on.
Yeah, we're delighted with that, you know.
Were you surprised it was so comfortable, so easy for you today?
No, I think we've got to work to make it that way. You know, we've got the goals at the right time, and then you can start to cruise and just defend. I'm just delighted with it.
I know it's the Coca-Cola Cup. I think you might be having something slightly stronger tonight.
A good bit stronger, I would imagine.
Go and enjoy it, Tommy.
Tommy Boyd put his birthday celebrations on hold during the week, but he will have some party tonight, and so will all these people packed into Ibrox. They'll shortly spill out, and there is some celebration to come. Celtic so badly wanted this, and you can see in these faces how much it means. 2 new players this season, Henrik Larsson and Reggie Blinker, Stefan Mai as well, and they've all responded, and they've all delivered the goods under the coaching of Wim Jansen. And everyone to do with Celtic will hope that there are good times ahead. The Dundee United supporters have headed homewards, disconsolate, disappointed with what their team came up with today. Today has been all about Celtic. They got a grip of the game early on. They never let go. They had 2 goals in a few minutes in the first half. There seemed at that point little chance of a Dundee United response, and it was Craig Burley's goal in the second half. There are the 3 scorers. It was Burley's goal in the second half which sealed this Celtic win and which killed off any prospect of a Dundee United revival. United battled bravely, but there was no way back. It could be some time yet before Ibrox is emptied. Craig Burley gets his hands on the silverware, having had disappointments with Chelsea on the losing side in '94 in the FA Cup, and he didn't feature at all in last season's cup final. It's noisy, it's colourful, scenes of celebration, scenes of delight, and they'll not stop here. Enrico Annoni and Simon Donnelly, 2 of the substitutes there who featured late on. They're enjoying it as much as anyone. Jonathan Gould is with Chick.
Jonathan, we talked about it before the game. This is what it's all about, some party.
This is where it starts. You can see what it means to the people here, see what it means to the players and the management and everyone else. It's a great day.
What a turnaround in your life over the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, 3 unbelievable months. I don't want it to stop here. I want it to keep going. You get a feel for winning things and you want to keep doing it.
Well, comfortable win for you today, wasn't it?
It was really. The voice of the back was fantastic, and the 3 goals, they did us credit because we deserved those 2. Maybe could have scored a few more.
There's some spirit in that dressing room at the moment.
There always has been all season, even when things weren't going well at the start. The spirit's been there. As long as that stays, we'll do well here.
Good luck, all the best tonight. Enjoy yourself.
And there's Wim Jansen, not one to give off great displays of emotion, Wim Jansen. But I think even he might permit himself a small drink of celebration. There's Murdo McLeod, whose goal won Celtic the League Cup 15 years ago. But he'll be happy that the history books are now rewritten with another League Cup final triumph for his side. Dressed up and everywhere to go, these young Celtic fans. It's been declared party time. More pictures for the newspapers. The 3 goal scorers, Larsson, alongside him, Rieper and Burley. 3 of the new boys at Celtic Park. They've cost a few £1 million between them. But right at this moment, from Celtic supporters' points of view, it all seems very worthwhile. Richie Blinker's a happy man. Let's hear from him.
Reggie, congratulations. How does this feel for a party?
This feels very good. I mean, this day is going to be a long day. I've won a few cups in Holland, but if I see this atmosphere, it's unbelievable.
Is this the best ever?
This is the best I've ever experienced till now. This is unbelievable, and I mean, all the people are still here, and I'm going to enjoy it to the max.
I'll bet you are. I don't really think this is the time to talk about football, more probably about having a party. But where does Celtic go from here?
What can I say? I mean, we not only won the cup, I think we deserve to win it. We played them and we played well. We scored good goals. I think we just deserve to win it. So I still think we should take it game by game. Every game we take apart, and then I think we can go a long way.
Right this moment, you're so glad you came to Scotland.
That's right.
Enjoy your night, thank you.
I think he likes a party, Reggie, and there's certainly one on offer for him this evening. Celtic's 23rd triumph in the League Cup over the years. Surely not Wim Jansen dancing. That would be a collector's item. But he must be very happy with his first spell in charge of Celtic. 25 games under the belt. And a trophy is locked away, heading for the Celtic boardroom. Gordon, amazing scenes.
Yeah, it's fantastic scenes here. Celtic fans are certainly enjoying this. They've waited a while for it. They had that Scottish Cup victory, but they've waited a long, long time for a League Cup victory, and it's been absolutely well-deserved today. Celtic, outstanding performance. We can go down. Chick Young's right now is with the manager, Wim Jansen.
Wim, you're becoming the most popular man in Scotland, I think, at the moment. Now you're in the middle of the party. What do you think? What do you think of these Celtic fans?
Oh, this is fantastic.
You've been around the world a bit. You've played and you've managed everywhere. How does this compare?
Oh, this is one of the best I ever met. Yeah.
You're beginning to relax a bit. We're beginning to see a different Wim Jansen.
Oh, but
now.
if you hear this singing and celebrating, that's fantastic today.
You're beginning to come out your shell and relax and be your own man.
No, I have a very small cell. Sometimes I come out.
What did you have to say to your players there at the end of that game?
Oh, I think the whole game they played very good. The defense was very good today. And as a team, we played very well. And that was the most important thing for today.
What are the Celtic fans left in this stadium and I was singing there's only one Wim Jansen? You really won them over now.
Oh, it's nice to hear them singing. Whatever they are singing, it's nice.
Yeah. I bet you should give them a wave.
Yeah, okay.
Give them a wave.
Chick trying desperately really to convince Wim Jansen that he should have a party, but I'm not sure Wim was having it there. But milking the applause, he's loved the moment. A bit uncomfortable in the spotlight, Wim Jansen, but what a job he's done. 3-0 first half goals from Mark Rieper and Henrik Larsson. The victory was tied up in the second half by Craig Burley. Dundee United swept aside by a stunning Celtic performance. In the 1997 Coca-Cola Cup final at Ibrox, it's finished Celtic 3, Dundee United 0.
So thanks to Rob McLean and Gordon Smith in the Ibrox commentary box, and the party set to continue long into the evening. The joy and despair of winning and losing of a cup final summed up for me, I think, just after the final whistle, when three sides of the stadium rose to sing in unison, "You'll Never Walk Alone." I think we're just going to do it again. Scarves aloft. The fourth side, the Dundee United side, completely deserted as the fans headed sorrowfully back to Tayside. It's that kind of day, and we'll hear the thoughts of Jim Duffy and Paul Surratt. A win for Celtic, but the manner of it, I'm sure, was just as satisfying as the fact they got their hands on the trophy.
Yeah, I think Celtic's tradition is one where they like to play entertaining, attacking football, and they put on a show. Not only, I think the most important thing for the fans was winning, but in the manner in which they done it would be especially pleasing. I think to the manager, the head coach, Wim Jansen, I think a lot of people said Wim who when he was appointed, and I think he's been vindicated his appointment. His three signings, top-class signings, they are all scored a goal, so he'll be delighted in all aspects. But for me, I think a guy with a right smile will be sitting Tommy Burns, because Morton Vekas and Alan Stubbs, to his signing, who a lot of people had doubts about when he signed, were both outstanding today. So, you know, I hope Tommy's smiling tonight, because I think he deserves a wee bit of the credit.
He's a good Celtic man, Tommy, although he's now at Newcastle. I'm quite sure he'll be smiling too, but it's a good point you make. Also, Paul, when we were talking at half-time about the Wim Jansen touch, and for all that Celtic went 2 and 3-0 up, they didn't go chasing more, which an old Celtic team might have done. They were happy to know that that was enough. They'd won the cup and they could hold it from there.
Yeah, I think so. I think they revamped their playing staff, and also the important thing for me as far as looking at Celtic is they're built from the back. A lot of the times in the past, Celtic teams of old have been more midfield forward type players have been brought in, but Wim Jansen's brought in good defenders, and a key was he mentioned there in his summary that his defence played very, very well. And I think that is the essence of Celtic at this minute, and I think they might go on to bigger and better things.
As an ex-United player, Paul, and goodness, you knew enough cup final disappointments in your time. It's a bad defeat for them. They've lost heavily, and to be fair, they never looked like winning the match today, did they?
No, I think they'll obviously be disappointed with their performance. I'm sure they expected much more. Something United have tasted in the past, and they've raised their game again, and I'm sure they'll do the same again. They've got a league game coming up very soon again. They'll get ready for that.
Mark Rieper and Henrik Larsson scored the opening goals, and Craig Burley got what proved to be the killer third about 13 minutes into the second half. Well, Ibrox is now slowly beginning to empty, as Celtic fans, Teletubbies included, reluctant to leave the scene of their first League Cup, Coca-Cola Cup triumph in 15 years. Well, let's take a look at the goal which wrapped up the victory. It came, as I say, 13 minutes into the second half, and Morton Vekas, rightly adjudged man of the match, Jim, once again very much involved.
Yeah, I said at half-time, I was delighted for Morton. I mean, he had a lot of critics when he went in there, but I think he was really just getting used to playing for Celtic. Said the Larsson, he said play the ball. I mean, it's poor defending made there, because he allowed Blinker to go on the outside on his favoured left foot, and a good cross, and Burley has made up great ground to get in there. And again, it's a very well worked goal, but I'm sure Tommy will be unhappy he's been defending. But you know, from Celtic's point of view, you know, great play and a great finish.
Paul, anything to add to the style of that cup-winning goal?
Well, I think, you know, it was a flowing move right from their own half, you know, and he goes past the boy Perry here, and really the marking in the middle is. And there could have been a doubt of being offside or not. I'm sure that'll be checked later in the week. But it's a great cross from Blinker. The one thing about Weghorst, he's got the man of the match today, and I think the catalyst to all has been that he's been selected. A lot of people might have thought that Lambert would have got the choice today, and I think he's went and showed and thanked his manager for selection.
Yes, that's a good point you make. That Paul Lambert, the big money signing, didn't play. Simon Donnelly didn't play. Darren Jackson, Tommy Johnson. We're now looking at a strong Celtic squad, and today will obviously give them a huge boost, but things are looking good for the league challenge.
Oh, very good. I think the confidence and the springboard now is that result today. to take that into their league for them now. They've stuttered a wee bit of late in the league, and basically hopefully now that they'll be thinking their confidence will take them on from there. And the squad, as you say, you know, they have a sprinkling of quality players sitting on the bench, and people not even stripped today. You can go rhyme off 5 or 6 other players. I do think they will go in the market for a bigger type striker, because I think it could be a catalyst, the style of play that they have to have somebody to hit in the air as well. But as I said already, you know, the defence has been very, very sound, and they'll be very pleased tonight.
They will indeed. Just last word to yourself, Jim. Would you look for Celtic to go on and capitalise on this cup-winning triumph?
Yeah, I think that's taken a lot of weight off their shoulders for this season. I think they can get the rest of the season very relaxed. I think Wim Jansen has shown he's you know, not scared to, you know, leave out big names, and if he thinks the tactics are right and play players he feels comfortable with, then I think he's ready to go for it, and I think Celtic could have an impressive season ahead of them.
Good. Thanks very much indeed to you both this afternoon for enjoying it with us. Let's just remind you once again that in a very impressive Celtic performance, Martin Weghorst was the man of the match, nobody arguing with that. And congratulations to Mr Lindsay Cruikshank from Blair Gowrie, which is suspiciously close to Dundee United country. He's our competition winner, and he'll be enjoying a day out to see the Scotland-Denmark World Cup warm-up match next March. Talking of the World Cup, don't forget the draw live BBC 2 Scotland on Thursday at 6 o'clock. Meantime, from Ibrox and to the scene of Celtic's Coca-Cola Cup triumph, goodbye.